Hello, everyone.
Hello, hello. I had to make sure I wasn't muted.
Yeah, I kind of saw you do something there. I was like, oh no. No, you were fine.
I'm just glad I'm here on time.
Mm-hmm.
Because I almost wasn't.
Yeah, I was like, oh no. I was very scared. I was like, oh no.
That's alright.
Yeah. Anyways, how's it poppin'?
Terrible. And how about you?
I forgot the thing he says in response.
Oh, the response is better than you.
Is it like terrific? So better than you.
It's better than you. So yeah.
So terrific.
Yeah.
Okay, I switched it up.
Yeah, I switched it up too. I confused
Me
myself.
too.
I even had it in my head before we started.
I should have been like, I should have looked it up, but I fucking didn't. I was bad. I was lazy.
That's all right.
But I could definitely see we have some people who definitely got the joke.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
As a side note, imagine people not in on the joke think we're just talking bad about the stream.
Well, at the like I mentioned in chat, if you're not in on the joke, you probably shouldn't. You probably either A, shouldn't be watching the stream, or B, don't care about spoilers.
Yes, I think
why don't you get into that?
Before we get started, I'm going to make it very clear, and I know James put this in chat a little bit earlier, but I'm going to make it very clear again now. This stream is going to be discussing major spoilers for the entirety of Xenoblade Chronicles X. In its entirety. We'll be talking about the story, we're going to be talking about the gameplay, we're going to be talking about everything. Nothing is off the table here. So, if you care about spoilers, if you are wanting to play this game yourself, or just don't want to be spoiled, this is your final chance to click off the stream.
Yeah.
I appreciate everybody coming out. As always, it's just, again, with the subject matter that we're talking about in our discussion stream today, I just think it's more important that people who don't want to be spoiled don't watch the stream.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think we should
This
also...
is a spoiler stream for a reason.
Yes, it is a spoiler stream for a reason, so now is your last chance to leave. Including mainline Xeno spoilers. Kind of very briefly...
We probably will still be talking about the numbered games.
A little bit.
To an extent.
A little bit. Not too much, but not like...
The Chapter 13 discussion we kind of do have to talk about something regarding Xenoblade 3, but that's for later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just go into this as if we were talking about the main series as well.
Yeah.
And I think we should also kind of put out another disclaimer here for our discussion with our gameplay experience with this game. James, you've beaten the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've beaten the game. I did not finish the game, but I basically just know everything that's happening in plot, so.
Mm-hmm.
Plus,
yeah, you put in several hours. You'll get into what happened later, but you put in like a ton of hours, like more than 50. Enough to get your opinion on the game. But you do know the entire story.
Yes.
We sat down after you expressed intention to put the game down to just watch the story cutscenes, and when the VOD for the Chapter 13 story had things that were making me motion sick. I'll get into that later. I just decided to play the entirety of Chapter 13 again for you.
YouTube playthrough watcher, shut the fuck up. Shut up, Galax.
Don't worry, Galax. She knows well enough to have a well-informed opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and I do greatly appreciate you doing that for me, James. I do appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But anyways,
good for this discussion.
Yes.
All right.
Shall we get started?
Shall we get into it? Spoilers start now. Well,
Spoilers.
Actually, something we should probably do. What else are we doing while we're talking about this stuff?
Oh yes. We'll be playing some games in the background. We're gonna be playing some Clubhouse games first.
Mhm.
Yeah. Excited. We haven't played this for a little
Me
bit.
with Kingdom Hearts story.
Oh, jeez.
Fair enough, Kaka. Fair enough.
Yeah. Did you want me to make the room, James, or?
Okay, I was going to say yeah, you probably should because I was getting some pretty heavy thunder up until like 2 minutes before I joined the stream, and now it's just stopped.
Okay.
So
You think you're confident?
I think I'm confident in my internet. If something happens, if I start getting signs of storms, then we may need to switch that.
Okay. I'm also gonna turn down the capture card just a tad because it is a tad loud for me today.
Yeah.
I'm gonna turn.
All right, let's get into a game before we get started.
Yes.
But yeah, all the story. Sorry, excuse me. All the spoilers talk out of the way. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. We're playing online with friends. I am making a lobby.
Yes, you are. Let me get chat pulled up on my little thingy here. Yeah, we made a whole list for this, so we're prepared.
Oh yeah, we are prepared. Yeah, once you get that going.
Mm-hmm.
All right, there you are.
Sweet. What game do you want to start with? Probably something a little simple.
Yeah. We'll play other games, but let's play Valhalla.
Yeah. Sweet. Let's do it.
Okay. So, while we get started, our first topic of discussion is the greatest strength of Xenoblade X, which is the exploration.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
Why don't you start?
Yeah. While I get my turn going here. Yeah, I think unlike other games in the series, in the Xenoblade series, I think this one strives the most with its exploration. It is also the game that mainly focuses on it. I know sheer exploration is not everyone's cup of tea, but I know, like, if you like just exploration, being able to just explore a world at your own pace, then I think this is a game a lot of people will like just for that alone. But I think, you know, the areas are also varied enough to where, you know, we can facilitate that.
Yeah. Xenoblade X has 5 major areas. Well, in main game at least. And I would say that all of them are varied enough to maintain.
James, can I have a turn, please?
No.
You're so mean. James, let me have a turn.
No.
James.
Capture. All right, there you go. You get a turn.
Motherfucker.
Yeah. It is interesting to see because this is the one Xenoblade game that I would define as an open world game.
Yeah.
Which the other Xenoblade games they have large worlds, but I wouldn't call them open worlds because you're always going to be limited in some way when it comes to exploration, whether it be story progress or some ability you need.
Mm-hmm.
Xenoblade X, once you get through the tutorial, you can just go directly to the farthest away continent if you choose to do so, and that's cool.
You'll probably get your ass kicked.
You probably will get your ass kicked, but you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Man, call is hard. Yeah, well, welcome in, Jackson. Welcome in.
Welcome.
Please note the story spoilers if you care at all about the Xenoblade X, because that is what we're talking about today. What else was I gonna say? Yeah. A note worth talking about: the the exploration could be a turnoff to some people who want to. Some people, myself included, when I first played the game, I wanted to. When I first played the game back on Wii U, so many years ago, I was expecting the game to be like Xenoblade 1 in that it was going to have a really unique and interesting story. That was not the case. It still has a pretty decent story. We'll get to that later. But it's not the game's strength.
Oh, I have no choice.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
So yeah, it could.
Oh, never mind.
It could be the high amount of exploration could be a turnoff to some people, like it was for me on the Wii U. But I enjoy it now, and that's what's. I enjoy it now that I've had my fix of Xenoblade games with amazing stories. Yeah. Kept getting lost. Little quest or thing. Okay.
We'll talk about that in a
we will
little
get
bit.
into that in a little bit. I know exactly what you're talking about, Pen. Okay. So, to help facilitate the exploration, you are also given a mechanic called Frontier Nav. It is a way for you to get both money and a resource called Moranium, which is basically the game's version of oil.
Oh god, should we tell him what you did? Tell him what you did.
Yes. Yeah, what I did with my game was I created an oil field under the desert.
Yeah.
The continent of Oblivia, that's the desert area. I use that area to store all of my Moranium.
Yep.
Yeah, it is literally an oil field. That I just thought was funny. It just happened to go that way.
Should we change the first move to random?
Oh yeah, let's do that. Random.
I was about to be like,
that was an option.
Yeah, let's keep going.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Frontier Nav? Because it's unique to this game, and I thought it was something very interesting.
Yeah. I like Frontier Nav. I like that it gives you more of an incentive to explore the continents. Mostly to find these points. That way, you can get more money and more resources, because, you're gonna need a lot of fucking resources in this game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Money is one thing. I will say,
Frontier Nav was cool
not just
until
Frontier
Chapter
Nav.
13.
Oh, I'm not sure exactly what you're referring to, Galax, but fair enough.
Is this a Monato's power? Hello, Cyrus.
Hi, Cyrus. Welcome in. Do mind the spoiler tag. We are spoiling everything regarding Xenoblade X today.
Yes. I think Cyrus has played X, so I think he's Gucci, so.
Cool. Frontier Nav is neat, but I kind of forgot about it after I installed the probes. Yeah, that is very understandable. I used it a lot in the opening hours. I used it a little bit more toward the end of the game, and then once I got my optimized setup, I've basically forgotten about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something. It's something just in the background, essentially.
Yeah. I played X a long time ago on Wii U, so I'm big chillin'. Okay. As long as you're okay with us spoiling everything along with the new content in Definitive Edition, then you can stay.
Yes.
Then you're good to stay. I mean.
Wow, James is trying to kick out all the people in my chat. He's just like, no, this is just me and
I
C,
misworded
no one
it.
else.
I misworded it. Yeah, I misworded it. But yeah.
Okay.
Money can be an issue early on, but late game the late game you are able to use it very.
Yeah, Cyrus
you're
says
able to get a lot,
he's cool with it.
Cool, that's good. I'm saying that because I've approached, and Tony, I know he's in chat. He has already hit the money cap. Yeah. Oh, that's why you're talking about chapter 13. Okay. You're locked out of exploration. You're basically locked out of multiple lives. Yeah, that's a complaint I'll get to with chapter 13 when we talk about chapter 13. I do agree that that's stupid though.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. With that in mind, talking about the world and Xenoblade X's greatest strength.
Almost James isn't want me here. I'll go. Slowly walks towards the door with sad violence swelling
you
up.
You can stay,
No!
Cyrus. I'm just making sure you're okay with spoilers because people may just see the spoiler tag and then watch us play Clubhouse games and be like, "What the heck is there to spoil about Clubhouse games?"
You know, Clubhouse Games is a government spy. It was made by the bourgeoisie.
Oh, jeez.
Just like the birds.
all this money and nothing to buy. Yeah, I know that feeling now, Tony.
Capture.
Yeah. So with that in mind, and talking about the world design and its with being Xenoblade X's greatest strength, those of you who've played the game, what's your favorite continent? Clubhouse lore.
Clubhouse Games spoilers in stream. Everyone, be careful.
Careful, guys. Careful.
Be careful. You know, the Smack Call game, you know, has a lot of deep lore.
I mean, it actually probably does, but I don't know it. Clubhouse Games is super integral to understanding the connection between X and Xenosaga.
Capture.
Yeah, what's everyone's favorite?
With the memes that we've seen about the Trails series, it doesn't somehow I wouldn't
surprise me. I'll go first with what my favorite is. My favorite is Silvalum.
Good choice. Good choice.
Capture.
God damn it, James.
I mean, we can, because we're talking all spoilers. We can say exactly why it's your favorite continent.
Yeah. I just really like it, like the music, and the area, and like just how it looks. I'm very much of a visual person.
Mm-hmm. Tony's favorite's Oblivion. Robot Wizard says Silvalum as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel something interesting about this game. I feel like just about anybody's favorite continent choice is a valid pick. I may look a little sideways if you pick Cauldros specifically, but like that's not necessarily a bad thing. Yeah. I was thinking that maybe the reason you were going to say that, another reason you were going to say Silvalum's your favorite continent is because of the big lake in that area.
Oh yeah! If you guys don't know, the big lake in that area is literally just called Lake CL. And when James showed that to me, I was like, really?
I had no idea. Little fun story. Even though I'd played the game on Xenoblade X, I basically didn't remember any minor locations in the game besides the main continents. So one day when I found out from a YouTuber named Anel that a resource called Blood and Jellium is very precious, I decided, despite the fact that I was level 23 and in chapter 5, to make my way to Cauldros. And to do that, I had to pass through Silvalum, which means that I saw Lake CL, and that was fun. That was a fun little coinky dink.
Yeah, it was nice.
Jackson says, "I picked Noctilum. I have played the game, but I haven't played the game, but I skimmed the wiki and like the jungle and water regions of the area."
I would say Noctilum is probably my second favorite.
Oh yeah.
I kind of went
Jackson.
I wish it went more with like the bioluminescent theme of the jungle it was going for there.
That's fair. Yeah. I actually say the same thing as Jackson. My favorite continent is Noctilum. It kind of feels like two biomes in one.
Mm-hmm.
To me, because like you have the heavy forest area at the start, but then as you keep delving deeper into it, it gets bigger. It gets like more open, but you still get like the treetop vibe at a certain point, and it's really neat.
Mhm.
Noctilum looks better in the Wii U version, in my opinion. I would have to see it. Again, I do own the Wii U version, but I've said this before. I've said this on Blue Sky. Unfortunately, my file of the Wii U version, so I would be starting anew, and just kind of spoiling to the end of this discussion. This definitely is the definitive edition. There's no reason to go back to the Wii U version.
Yeah. Also, James, you cut out a tiny bit, but I will preference what he's trying to say. A lot of his memory on his Wii U got corrupted.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of my save files were lost, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, speaking of definitive edition, next topic to discuss is the quality of life changes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, graphical overhaul. We kind of mentioned that a second ago. Character models, in my opinion, look a lot better on the Switch. I know that is subjective though, because I have seen other people saying that they still prefer the Wii U version.
No, you don't get a turn.
Capture.
Rest in peace, Wii U save files. Yeah. I still don't know the entire extent of what I lost. But I posted a thread about it on
his Blue Sky.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
Capture.
Other quality of life changes. We'll talk about this more later. We'll talk more about this one later, but the quick cooldown mechanic for combat. Damn, that was a big one.
Yeah.
The quick cooldown mechanic. I'm gonna be real. This is probably the best addition that they made to the game. Just straight up. It made a
Capture.
It made the regular combat outside of Overdrive not feel like agonizingly slow, which thank God for that.
Yeah. It helped that beginning portion before you get Overdrive, like that transition it just helped it a little bit better.
Yeah. Yeah, it helped you to get to chapter 5.
Yes.
Let's see, what other quality of life changes? Oh yes, the font size.
Oh yes, we can fucking read the text now.
I can read the game. This was a big issue on Wii U. Back on that version, oh god, I think the game ran at 720p on the I needed to read, and that's at 480p. Oh my god, that text was tiny.
Oh god, it was horrible.
Yeah,
Having played the original last year, I
one thing
completely agree with that. It's also nice that they made it get work with skills once you hit post game. True.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is something. I know. Jeez, I remember when I first told you that skills get quick cooldown in post game,
and I was like, huh?
Yeah, seriously.
I remember when you
feel like
told
that should have
me
been
that, and I was like, what?
Yeah, and that's a fair reaction. That really should have been on the skills from the beginning. I understand having double draining effect because skills take more energy. It makes more sense, but it still should have been there from when you get skills in chapter 6.
Mm-hmm.
I think the recast skews to overpowered really quick, so I don't like it. That's fair. I do agree that it does make your builds really overpowered toward endgame, because yeah, the game's combat system definitely wasn't designed with it in mind. I do agree with that statement, Galax. However, my counterpoint is by making it more fun in the early game, you retain players so that they can more easily get to that end game point.
Mm-hmm. Capture.
Yeah, that's my big thing on it. I do agree though. It does make you stupidly powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Next quality of life change. The overdrive guide. What are your thoughts on that? Because you're the person who was most new on the game when the game first released.
Yeah. Okay, I'll talk more about my opinions of overdrive in general later, but I do think it at least helped me at least get going with it a little bit more. Like, okay, this is what I can do with it. At least it was a good branching off point, and again, I really wish this was in the original just to make things easier. But it's like the blade combo thing, the blade combo guide in 2. That's kind of like my biggest comparison to it.
Yeah, that was definitely, if the blade combo guide was not there in 2, that would have been just unintuitive.
That would have been horrible.
Xenoblade 2 still has unintuitive portions of it, but that would have been a lot worse. Rebel Wizard says, to be blunt, anything is broken in X if you do it right. Oh yeah, we'll be getting to the combat in just a bit. Galax says, I think what could have made it better is to have less recast upgrades during the early game.
Ooh, nice.
That's fair. Oh wow, that's a lot. That is a fair point. I'm not sure exactly how that would. I'm not sure how exactly that would pan out, to be honest. I'd have to see what the distribution change would be, because I'm not sure what it would be as we speak right now.
Yeah.
I don't mind the distribution change as it is right now. It still works. Yeah. Okay. Next quality of life change. Party member balance. By that, sorry, not balance. Party members, you can select them at any point you want.
Yes.
Which, thank God, that's just an amazing quality of life change.
Did I win? Oh, really close.
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 Yeah, you almost won. Yeah. All right. That's just good. The being able to select party members, thank God, anywhere that you want. Field skills, they're still in the game, but they're almost non-existent to the point where it's just more convenient.
James, you skipped over 2 things.
Oh, what's up? What did I skip?
So with party members, the ones that are not in your party, they can still get experience when they're not in the party.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Which makes things so much easier. And on top of that, you can change the time of day at any point now. You don't have to go to certain points to do that.
Yeah, you don't have to. They made it just like the numbered games. You can change time anywhere. You'd think that wouldn't be a change if you were playing the game for your first time, but no, it is a major change, and it's very, very nice. Okay. Next thing is the level cap increase. I'm curious what Galax thinks about this one, because if you ask me, this is the thing that I think would make things the most overpowered, if any.
Because I think I'm trying to remember what the original level cap was. Wasn't it like
it was 60.
70 or 60?
It was 60. Yeah. Yeah, it was 60. That should have been a menu in the first place. I don't get why it was stationed. Yeah, I agree with Rebel Wizard. Yeah, the level cap. Yeah.
Capture.
Level cap only increases your defensiveness, so meh. Okay, fair enough. I wasn't sure exactly what the stat distribution was.
Capture.
I'll throw it back.
Yeah. All right, next thing. Somebody mentioned this earlier. The follow ball.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's technically been improved.
Yeah, it's still a little finicky sometimes. I think you and I have both had instances where the follow ball just doesn't work.
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure everybody, not just you and me, but like everybody in the Xenoblade spoilers discussion chat, have shown what I call a follow ball moment. Holy shit! Yeah, follow ball is great. I agree, Galax. It is both the best and worst thing.
Oh yeah, it's hilarious.
Yeah, it does still do its job of, you know, letting you get things that you need, pointing you directly toward things you need, but you know, it also does its best to do other things. Sometimes not that great. You don't realize how much of a pain it was on the Wii U. Oh, believe me, I know exactly what it was like. I remember exactly what it was like on the Wii U.
Oh,
the biggest thing was the draw distance not existing.
Yeah.
On the Wii U with the follow ball. It would just it's just gone. That's all it was. Sometimes just gone. In the Wii U, it leads me in circles. It still does that here on the Switch version. Yeah.
To be fair, it still does that.
Yeah. There is something similar to it on in Xenoblade 3, where it draws a line on the floor for if you need something. But if it doesn't actually have like a ball function, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Adding item tracking to the follow ball is the best change. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, better item tracking. That I wasn't sure if that was better or worse than it was on Wii U, to be honest, because I didn't really do much grind work on Wii U as I have on the Switch version. Yeah. But yeah, I will say I do think the tracking still needs improvement. Sorry, not the tracking, the material tracking. I just feel like we should be able to track materials for more than one augment at a time.
Yeah.
But that's just me. I'm glad that we can do it at all. That is nice.
Do we want to keep doing Mancala, or do we want to switch to something else?
Yeah, let's do another game. What are we thinking?
I mean, I'm always down for blackjack.
Sure, blackjack. Let's go. Where is it? There it is.
Right there.
Blackjack.
Alright, we know how this works.
Yes.
Oh, how many should we do? 5 or 10?
Let's do 10.
Cool.
So you could keep going a little bit longer.
Yeah. And you basically didn't know where any item was. Even the guidebook was very vague because it didn't give drop rates. Yeah, I am glad that we now have drop rates, just because of like wikis existing nowadays. Yeah, but that's an understandable.
Oh, computer got
somebody
fucking
already got blackjack.
Yeah. Well, they're winning.
Dang it. All right. The last quality of life change that there is to talk about is the save system. I'm just glad that newer Xenoblade games are adopting Xenoblade 1's save system, because in my opinion that's the gold standard when it comes to the Xenoblade series. Nowadays it's only really Xenoblade 2 that doesn't have it, and who knows, that may be fixed in the future. Okay. That is all the quality of life changes that we wrote down.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
Hit.
Yeah. Who's message? Oh, okay, that's something else. Okay. Next topic of discussion. Okay, here's where we start to get a little bit critical.
Stand.
The tutorial system.
The tutorials. Unfortunately,
So
I honestly think that this game has the same issues with its tutorials as Xenoblade 2 did. And that is bad. That is not a good thing.
I will quickly answer Galaxy's question. Yes, you can transfer character designs between saves. You can like save them to different avatar data slots, and that is saved to your system. That is a universal save thing, kind of like the fashion.
Overdrive tutorial didn't help at all. We're gonna get to that very shortly.
Yeah, and I do have to agree.
And as a new player who, you know, this is the first time they're playing the game, the tutorials do not help you at all with how the mechanics work. There were many times where I was just like, I'm so confused, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. And I had to literally ask you and Tony for help sometimes, because I was just so confused.
Stand.
Yeah, I don't blame you. To give a oh good lord, all right.
Okay.
To give some context, to get some context with my experience with the other games, I understood Xenoblade 2's combat system when I first played it. The only reason why I didn't really struggle with learning the combat system of Xenoblade X was because I had already played the Wii U version, and I had seen videos retroactively, so I had a little experience in that regard.
Yeah, unfortunately, I played 2 at launch, so I did not have that.
Stand.
So it was kind of just like going into like a den of wolves for me, unfortunately.
I know it's probably a bad idea for me to stand on 16, but
No.
Oh hey, I profited.
You profited. Still not as
I did not
smart as
feel
me though.
At least 2 and X have that in common: a deep combat system poorly explained in game. That's true, because yeah, Xenoblade 2's combat system is really just as in depth as Xenoblade X. It's just holy shit, new players would have no idea how it works.
Honestly, I think X explains its system so much worse than 2 did, because at least with 2, it gave me a little nugget to go off of, which I'm like, okay, you know, at least I learned by the end. But with X, I was still like, I don't know what the fuck is happening. Sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think that was a
big,
huge problem.
Yeah, I think a big contributing factor is one of the main tutorial topics that we were going to discuss. Overdrive.
Yes.
When it comes to in-game tutorials that you get and see, you get I think it was 2 text box worth of okay, there's a little bit of scrolling involved as well, so it's really more like 5. There's stand.
Hit.
And I looked in the tips menu. There are more overdrive tips. There are more. Oh, good God.
Oh shit! The one time I decided to go big. Damn it.
Yeah. In game, you only get 1 overdrive tutorial prompt. Out of you can search for more in the tips menu, but that's really not. That's really, you're not guaranteed to see that. That's not something that not everybody's guaranteed to go into the tips menu to look for stuff. I do that because I learned from Xenoblade. Because I learned from Xenoblade 3, which, if you ask me, Xenoblade 3 still has, I think, the best tutorials in the game.
Yes.
Specifically because of not just the tips menu, but also because of the but also because of the combat drills, which we'll kind of discuss later. But
I wish
I'm in the negatives.
Oops. I wish this game had something like the combat drills, or just had more like example points, like example prompts, like you get for some battles in 3, just to make it easier for you to understand the combat, instead of just like, oh, you beat this chapter, here's a text box explaining this. When it's like, I'm not even in combat, I'm just in the overworld.
yeah, it's not gonna be helpful.
No.
I like that they have a chart flow for Overdrive, but it still doesn't help. It still doesn't have enough details. I do agree on that. I do agree on that front, Robot Wizard. It gives you enough to work with Overdrive, so I feel like it's less of an issue. I feel like it's less of an issue, but it's still an issue. And then, unfortunately, we also have the reverse issue when it comes to another major tutorial you have to get at a certain point, the Scale tutorial.
Oh my
I think
God.
that one you get. I should have counted. It was something like 6 different prompts, and like each of them had at least three menus in them each.
Mm-hmm.
So that one you have the reverse issue of they're telling you too much at once, and there's no way you're going to retain this information.
Exactly. It was just so for me when I got to this point where you get the tutorial. Hey,
nice.
Let's go. But when I got the tutorial, I'm like, okay, but it's also at the same time, it's just like, it's not explaining it very well, so I kind of got confused, and after the game just let me go with my skill, I was like, what the hell do I do? Where do I start? And it made me...
Once again...
It made me not care so much about, wanting to do anything with the skill, because I was just so turned off by a large info dump, and I had to DM Tony and be like, Tony, I don't know what the hell to do with this, and he's like, I don't know what you're confused about, but it's like, I'm confused about the entire thing. Yeah,
it's very difficult to narrow down exactly what you're confused by when you're confused by everything. That's something that I learned when I was a teacher. If a student doesn't know where to start, then I don't know how to help them. Because they can't even explain the problem, and that it's just discouraging to them, and it's discouraging to the teacher too, because you don't know what you're missing. Ah, dang it!
Well, I got my stuff back.
I am in the negatives again.
Oh, you poor thing. This is why we don't gamble. This is why we don't take that big of risks.
That's why I'm glad we're not gambling with real money. You know what?
Yeah, I'm never taking James to a casino.
I feel the issue is that I didn't understand the concepts of what makes Overdrive broken.
Fuck it, you're doing it, I'm doing it too.
Because I'm just trying to...
I'll go big and go home.
Trying to copycat a complicated task. I only used scales for mobility until you got the Ares 90 because I didn't figure out a lot until guides. Yeah.
True.
Hey!
Oh my God.
Stand.
I hope he busts. Okay, well, it doesn't matter, we won. James
I won. No, I didn't win.
No, you didn't win, no. But hey, that was a nice turnaround though.
Yeah, I got third. Oh well.
I got second.
Let's do it again, that's fun.
Yes, I like blackjack. I'm glad I got you interested in it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I knew how to play before, but I didn't actually touch the blackjack in this game until we did it the first time.
Yeah.
So something you kind of touched on before. I think that, and this is something that you said. It's just something that I agree with because I didn't come to this realization. Some of the better tutorials from Xenoblade 3 specifically are tutorials that are mid-combat.
Yes.
Yeah, sometimes you have like a good example from Xenoblade 3, the Ouroboros tutorial. Hey, blackjack.
Hey, nice.
The Ouroboros tutorial. You have this big story moment where you see Sir Wildride, as I'll call him without spoiling things, kill one of your friends right in front of you, and you suddenly get this amazing power to counter him. Sorry.
I was about to be like, are you gonna go?
Hit.
Aw, damn it.
Sure, it's a modified version of the Ouroboros form of Noah.
Oh, I would have lost anyways.
but it at least gives you gives you a feel for what's different. It's slower, but you're
It's
more or
more
less
intuitive.
invincible. And it's a very intuitive form of a tutorial.
I think also the reason why I kind of feel this way is also just because I'm way more of a hands-on learner. I need like to see it visually on my screen, and I need to be able, like, the game give me like a safe place for me to do this. If that makes sense.
Yeah, and that's why I brought up before the combat drills. It's probably
I'm being bad today with my gambling.
I got lucky.
Yeah,
that
you
was me
did.
getting lucky right there. Just saying. But yeah, the combat drills. I understand why. Well, on the one hand, I both understand and don't understand why there wasn't any form of combat drills in Xenoblade X. Because Xenoblade X has the what's it called? Point attack simulator.
Yeah,
thank you.
point attack
Looking at
simulator.
notes. Yeah, it's kind of like it gives you a similar feel as the combat drills, but you have you don't have anything directing you. It's just do damage on this thing where you're entirely safe, and just like see what works, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the data for that could have been used to make combat drills in Xenoblade X. I don't know. That's just me spitballing here.
We don't know. Damn.
Yeah.
I am having a fucking time.
Oof. I will say though that the tips menu does help in that you can review the tutorial should you choose to do so. It's just unfortunately a lot of players won't go out of their way to do that. Unfortunately.
Hit.
Yeah.
Stand.
Oh, yeah, I guess. You have anything else to say about the tutorial system?
Not really.
It needs work. It needs work, and
It
like
does.
I said before, dang it.
Oof.
Aw.
Well, shit.
It needs work. I still think that Xenoblade 3 is the gold standard for Xenoblade game tutorials, and to an extent Xenoblade 1 as well, just because of how much personality was in those tutorials.
Mm-hmm.
That made it unique. I still have some complaints with them, but it still works for that game.
Mm-hmm.
It's really that half the Xenoblade games have bad tutorials, half of them have good ones. That's what we're dealing with right now.
It's like it kind of sucks. It also doesn't help because, again, I had helped Mike go through Xenoblade 2. I can at least say this: it was a pain in the ass for me and chat to have to explain things to him. God damn it! I'm playing like ass today.
I would be real. Yours was just bad luck because of the number that you were dealt at the start. 12 is not a good one to have.
12 is kind of a iffy number.
Yeah, 12 is iffy. Yeah, not as bad as something like 16 or something like that, but
yeah.
Anyway.
But anyway, should we
right.
move along to the equipment system? We have a lot to say about the equipment system.
Yeah. Tip for a bit to click video pack. You're gambling. Yes, we are gambling. This is a gambling stream now.
Not with real money.
18 plus question mark? Yeah, not with real money. We're not actually gambling. This is entirely just in Clubhouse games.
James, what did you say about 18 plus? What the fuck? Excuse me? You want to repeat
gambling.
that?
Nah.
I'll find out on the VOD. So you know I watch the VODs.
Hit.
Yeah. Anyways, equipment. I see this as an interesting change from the other games. So,
okay, cool.
There's a lot that you can do. There's a lot that you can do when it comes to equipment in Xenoblade X. Gear especially is most like Xenoblade 1 in that you have so many gear slots. Unlike that game, well, like that game, you also have augment slots on the on your equipment, and those augment slots really are your way of customizing your characters. But a complaint that you had written down was that there really is a lot of options, not just when it comes to gear, but like on top of that,
I think it's
arts,
just
figuring out your stats.
I think it's just very, very overwhelming for new people, which is weird because with 1, I had no problem like understanding the equipment system and everything for 1, but I think that all just boils down to 1 explained it better in a way that I could easily grasp. 3, X does not, under any circumstances.
Yeah, I'll say that I find it dumb, and it's thanks to the res system and defense being subtract. Yeah, that is a huge thing. We'll begin to that when we talk about the stats. Actually, we can. Well, just quickly going into
Games.
just one little point to talk about. Sorry. One little point to talk about. What kind of party build did you end up having at the NC? Just out of curiosity. What kind of builds are your favorite, and what kind of builds are Chat's favorite? What do you guys like?
I think I kind of explained it to you, but I was kind of doing the long sword stuff with the, like, crazy TP overdrive aura stuff going on. You know which build I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's the one I kind of stuck with, because it was just so fun, just getting overdrive all like the time and just having big AoEs and going oonga boonga on the enemies.
Oh yeah, the classic longsword dual guns build. I figured that out as well. I'm very glad that I started the game learning the Winged Viper and then Full Metal Jaguar class, because that gives you, like, sure, the dual swords, you can say what you will about that half, but the dual guns class, weapon specifically, is a great way to learn not just the game itself but overdrive. So that was very helpful. Robot Wizard says, I have a Reflectville with Beam Saber and Sniper just for... yes, Howling Soul. That is a very powerful one. So yeah. Oh, nice.
Nice.
Yeah, I started the game just doing the Full Metal Jaguar stuff, and then eventually I tried different melee weapons and landed on longsword for a bit because longsword dual guns is just completely busted. And then I figured out that one of the classes gave you a lightsaber.
Oh yeah.
And as a Star Wars nerd, I ran with the friggin' lightsaber because because I love lightsabers. That's just the thing.
They're cool. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. So yeah, I did figure out later on exactly what Robot Wizard said. The lightsaber, it's called Photon Saber in the game to avoid copyright. I did figure out later on that you can have perfect reflection as a defensive option there, which is really neat. It's kind of like, you have the Force as your ally or something like that. Hey. Again?
Oh my god! I swear that was twice in a row!
Hit.
I'm pretty sure it is, yeah. Full Metal Jaguar because Grey Xenoblade 3. Yeah,
True.
fair.
True.
Good lord, all three of us got blackjack.
All except for me. This round was not kind to me. I'm so glad we're not gambling with real money.
Oh yeah.
I'm so happy.
Holy cow, you ended on 0.
Exactly 0.
Hey, let's go again. I like this.
Yes.
I do want to point this out though, and I think this is part of why the equipment system gets kind of overwhelming for new players, because that's what we're talking about right now. Notice how when I asked everybody for your favorite builds, we talked about our builds for our main character. Notice what we didn't talk about: our party members. I don't know if this is a common sentiment, but in my opinion, your other party members are kind of an afterthought, just because of how much you have going on just to build your main character. You kind of just focus on them, and the other guys just get whatever's left. At least that's what I did. Was that the case with anybody else? With you guys in chat?
That kind of was the case with me too.
Yeah. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It was a lot to focus on for a new player.
Mm-hmm.
So I limited myself down to just building one to become broken, and hey, it worked. So like,
yeah,
it's a viable strategy.
Ooh.
Gotta play safe here.
But yeah. But yeah, in terms of battle, in terms of like building your party members for battle, it's not that they don't matter. What I ended up doing just to get some effect off on them is I had them focus on their debuff arts, just to like weaken enemies so I can do more damage and stuff like that. But that's really it.
I think
that only changed.
I was very just confused as well with like, should I be building my party members? Should I leave them be? It was kind of just like, what should I be doing? Because I know for sure I like wanted to focus on my character, but it was still kind of like,
Dang it.
Oof.
Double down.
Aw.
Oh, yeah.
I should not have done that. We all lost anyways.
Dang, we all lost.
I should have stand.
The house always wins.
It's alright.
Okay. So, next thing we're talking about, I did want to just draw quick attention to this. We're not going to spend too long on this a little bit, but weapon and armor drops.
This is more something I think you wanted to talk about.
Yeah. If you want anything, if you want like a specific build for yourself or a party member, you need a guide. That's just how it is. And that, while that's not unheard of for like high level building,
God damn it.
In Xenoblade, I've been dealing with some bullshit odds for builds that I want.
Yeah, he has.
I was just talking with C and Tony last night about a piece of armor that I wanted that had a 2% chance of dropping. Thankfully, I had the Ares 90, so it made the grind to get it very quick and easy. But 2% chance. That's kind of, I don't want to say that's like bad odds, but while on the one hand it's fascinating that you can make these kinds of builds, it's also very difficult to do so.
James, have you tried upgrading augments?
Yes, Galax, I'm trying to upgrade beyond just augments though.
He's
only
like
5
mini-maxing.
slots.
He's trying to mini-max.
When you have only 5 augment slots on your armor, you gotta be able to pace out what else you build for. I will say though, in early game and like from a casual perspective, it actually is really neat that armor can have both empty slots and
set slots.
Regular traits, because that does lead to some interesting customization options. But late game optimization, it becomes a pain in the ass. That's all I wanted to say on that.
Hit. Stand.
Okay. Somebody mentioned this before, and we already kind of talked about Moranium, so I'm gonna
we're gonna lightly touch on this.
Yeah. You can use Moranium to create empty slots on armor that wouldn't normally have it, and that's neat. You do need a lot though, so be prepared to use a lot.
Yeah, and Moranium is a resource you're gonna be in a constant need of.
In fact, right now, since I'm doing stuff in post game, I own my entire Frontier Net setup is just Moranium and Moranium storage.
Yeah.
I don't care at all about money anymore. Oh, that's a hard one to land on. Anyways, the next point to discuss, along with equipment, your stats. Robot Wizard mentioned this before. Your defensive options are kind of stupid. We have. I'll say just in general, some of the stats make sense. Like, you have HP, your TP, which in other games would be like your special meter or something like that. Your melee range attack stats, accuracy and evasion. They did make the necessary change from Xenoblade 1 to split up the accuracy and evasion stats. So, correct choice. Agility is not quite as broken as it was in Xenoblade 1. But then it's really defense that gets where the game's stat system just gets kind of stupid.
Yes.
If you ask me.
James.
And Robot Wizard said it more concise than I ever could. What's up?
James analysis. It's time for James's analysis on the defense stat, because I have the full list pulled up and it says make James explain the math. So literally James analysis.
Robot Wizard gives it in the basic. I just want to point this out. Look at CPU 2.
What in the fuck are they doing?
You, my friend, are going to be chased down by the mafia after this game. Anyway, Robot Wizard said it in quick terms, but to give a better explanation, defense is subtractive to your total amount of damage. So the way how the math works, if you are going to be hit by an attack that's going to do, say, that's going to do, say, 1,000 damage, and you have 200 defense, which is actually a pretty high defensive value. That attack will still do 800 damage. That's still a lot. And if you want to build toward your defensive stat, you really should be building toward the resistance stats to lower your percentage of damage taken. But the resistance stats also have the problem of there's too many of them. There really shouldn't be that many resistance stats. It's impossible to reasonably defend against all of them with a build. To the point where the way how most people end up playing the game, at least in endgame, is exactly what Galax says. Just ignore defense altogether. And while it's cool that you can do that, it's cool that you can do that in various ways. I know of 5 different ways to make yourself completely invincible. Robot Wizard named one of them, and Galax named another.
Stand.
The fact that you're just ignoring defense altogether, I don't know. That just doesn't sit right to me when it comes to playing an RPG.
Mm-hmm. It feels weird.
Mm-hmm.
As at least
I won.
I will at least give a better example of how a defense and a resistance stats could work. Fire Emblem, your defense, that is for physical damage. So anything done with a melee weapon, like a sword or anything like that. And then the resistance stats in that game, that is your magic defense.
Okay.
So that would be your defense for if you get hit with a magical attack, like a spell or something.
Oh, so like Pokemon, you have 2 different types of
correct. Yes. So defense and special defense. Yes.
Yeah. That makes sense. I will say that something that a decision that I do agree with the developers on, when it comes to the oh
damn, what the hell?
Something I do agree with the developers on when it comes to the later games. I do like the resistance stats concept. It's just there are too many of them, and Xenoblade 2 and Xenoblade 3 both went the route of your defensive values are building for 2 resistance stats, just physical and ether. And in my opinion, that works very well. I feel like even if Xenoblade X had 4 stats that you're building toward, I think that ether and gravity could have been very easily been put together into one resistance stat, and then same with beam and electricity. Those two could have been put together. So by that token, you would be stuck in the end with physical, ether, thermal, and electricity. 4 is a lot easier to build toward, and I feel like that's more manageable for a first-time player.
Mm-hmm. Because you can't feasibly build towards every single resistance in the game.
Mhm.
I've noticed.
And I agree with
Hit.
Yeah, and I agree with Robot Wizard. It's
Stand.
unreasonable to, well, not unreasonable, but I agree. I don't like that you have to plan for your fights knowing what kind of attacks they have. So it's like if you die, if you die, you then have the tool. You then can change your build for that. But I'd rather just win the fight.
Right.
Again, I do think that the later games, 2 and 3, did have the correct decision of keep the resistance stats, but only have 2 of them. I think that's the correct choice.
The game design is very MMO, just not executed well in a single-player environment. Cyberpunk 2077 uses a similar system and is it's just better executed. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I haven't played Cyberpunk 2077, although I have been watching a friend play it. I'll have to, next time I talk to him, I'll ask him what the stat calculation is in that game, because of course, House always wins.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to ask him about that. It's interesting that you brought that up, Galax. That is some food for thought for me. I'll consider that. X feels like an MMO that didn't get put enough into the online aspect.
We'll talk about the online later.
We'll
talk about that one later.
Yeah, we'll talk about the online.
But it's very MMO, and I feel like that's like the case for most of the games.
Stand.
It's very much inspired by MMOs, which that's fine. I have no problem with that. I think X leans way more into that than others, but it's just I know MMOs can explain this stuff better than this game can.
Yeah.
And it's just like, damn, what the fuck?
I will say, I think you did misspeak for a second. I do think that at least the stats themselves are explained decently well, except for one, which we're about to get to.
Yeah.
I think that most of the stats, including resistance stats, are explained very well. It really is just defense is.
I think it was more talking about like other MMO games.
Okay. Yeah, I gotcha.
That stuff better than this game does, because yeah, some of the stuff with like the potential stat, I had no fucking idea until you told me.
Yeah. So the potential stat, it is definitely I would say it's the poster child for for a confusing stat in this game, because like once you know what it does, yeah, it's really good, and you know how to build toward it. But your potential is both your healing stat and a specialty damage stat, which in one way kind of reminds me of like dual purpose stats, kind of like magic, the special stat in Pokemon Gen 1, just kind of instead of defense, it's healing.
Kind of a be all end all.
Yeah. It is good. It is good when you build toward it, but you wouldn't know what it means. You wouldn't understand that your dang it. You wouldn't understand that your most powerful attacks are based on your potential stat. Well, okay, most powerful attacks in early game, I should say, are based on your potential stat and don't have any calculation at all for your melee/range attack.
James, I think you're gonna get chased out by the Mafia by the end of this game. Look at how far in the negative you are.
I'm just not gambling hard enough. Watch, you'll see.
What have I done?
Okay.
What have I done?
But yeah. I think level is the most misleading stat in the game. There is an argument for that, Galax. I do agree. I have to stand. There's no way I can hit on that.
Hit.
Yeah.
Stand.
Okay, let's see. Anyways, continue.
Isn't potential the damage? So okay, it's not damage. I think I understand what you're getting at, Galax. The potential stat does impact the damage that you do on the initial opening blast of Overdrive, that's something new to Definitive Edition. But aside from that, it's only healing from soul voices, and it's your attack stat for your TP arts.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you do want to see success in the game, the best way to do that is to pick one stat and crank it out. Whether it be your melee attack, ranged attack, or potential, because any of them work. Dang it! I'm getting chased out by the mafia after this.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. The problem with that I foresee is new players would think.
This is why you should not gamble so hard.
Gamble, become God.
No.
Gamble, become God.
James. Have you learned anything? Look how far deep in the fucking red you are.
No, I have not learned anything.
Guys, help me. Help me.
Watch it, Lord. It's all going to turn around right now.
Hit.
God damn it. Well, we'll see. You were saying, James!
I am in the positive. I'm in the lead.
Chat, clip that shit. Chat, I want you to clip that. Clip that.
I have learned nothing. I gamble and I become God. Okay.
James, you need to go to therapy.
I'm fine. Trust me, I'm fine. See, I'm good. I'm gonna bet everything I have in the positive.
You know I was kidding, right?
I know.
Oh shit. Tony, help. He's teasing me again.
Okay. But just to finish the discussion on the stats.
Yes.
We're
getting off the rails.
Having so many different attacks stats can be confusing to new players, and new players probably will try to balance them, when in reality that's probably not something you should do.
Nice. Well, you won that one.
Okay. Next part of the equipment system to talk about is augments.
Yes.
I like that they're there in the game. My one complaint is that you have to craft basically all of them.
Yeah.
You can find some in treasure boxes, but they are very few and far between. I miss how in Xenoblade 1 and 2 you can find augments just from enemy drops. Should I play one more game?
I was thinking, did we want to switch games?
We can do another one. A different one.
What was the one we were talking about? You told me there was billiards.
Yeah, where is it? Here it is.
Yes.
Billiards.
I want to try it.
Cool.
Now
I
that
want to skip. Do you want to play 9-ball? I don't actually know what simple rules means. Or do you want to play 8-ball?
Usually I play 8-ball.
Okay.
Put your turn on random. Yeah, there we go.
Random. All right. Okay. Augments. I like them. I think there's. I wouldn't say there's a balancing issue.
Okay,
but some of them are definitely more powerful than others. Though that's the case for all Xenoblade games. Crafting augments does take materials, and those can be a pain to grind out. That's something.
Ooh, you are in a weird spot, my friend.
It's actually your turn right now.
Well, this looks like a good spot for me.
I feel like there isn't enough scale augments.
Okay, now it's your turn.
there are 3 categories of skill augments, which is cool. But oops. But I do think I agree. There probably should be more. But having a one-shot build, I yearn for more build options. Yeah, fair.
Nice.
Ah, dang it. Yeah. And something I mentioned earlier, all augments in Xenoblade X, they all require precious resources. I mentioned Bongelium earlier. Thank you, Anel, for finding the... you almost linked the 8-ball.
Yeah, which we're not supposed to do. We're not supposed to do yet.
Yeah.
Major rule about billiards. The 8-ball has to be shot in last.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, come on.
You got something
I got one of yours in. At least I think that... Oh, no, that was one of mine. Okay, sorry. My bad. Yeah. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah, precious resources. Thank you, Anel, for coming up with the Bongelium grind. That is such a big thing. I wish I'd known about that sooner. Although it wouldn't have led to the amazing Bongelium thing that we did a while ago, where I went to Caldros early. That was fun.
Yeah, because you're like, hey, I'm gonna try a stupid, and the stupid worked.
Oh no. Well, that pocket's off limits for the rest of the game.
James.
That made things harder for both of us.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. A little note I did want to point out. Apparently the material requirements, the grinding and stuff like that, was even worse on Wii U. Apparently they lowered the materials that you need. Okay. Last thing about the equipment system we want to talk about. The class system. I like the class system. I really like how... I can tell that this is what eventually led to the class system in Xenoblade 3, which I really like it there. So that... Okay. I'm gonna try... this. Nope.
Be careful.
Yeah. I like the fact that you can mix and match any range weapon with any melee weapon once you master the class. I wish I'd known that when I was playing the Wii U version, because I thought, okay, I'll go down this. I'll get Striker, and then I'll get the next one down, and then the next one down before I ever go to the end of any tree. That was a mistake. That's not something you should be doing. Can I hit this one? I will also say one thing about the class system. The
It's ooh.
I have just made this basically impossible for myself. Oh boy.
James, why?
Okay, skill slots we kind of want to talk about with the class system. Class system is very fun to grind out. I leveled all of them in an hour and a half in post game. Yeah, it's very nice and easy to grind them out. That's neat. There is a way to do it easy in Xenoblade 3 as well, because it's the other game with the class. Well, there is a class system in Xenoblade 2 as well, but it's
you get to put the ball anywhere you want. Because I got a foul.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna do that. More of an angle. Just a little tap.
Yeah, I used to play pool a lot growing up. I just wish I kept up with it.
Yeah. But yeah, I do like the class system and how it's handled. I do think that having skill slots tied to the class system is kind of stupid. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. Plus, it's also
I
just
have to be really careful with this.
Plus, I think like the class system, it's really more handled for just the main character. It's not really well handled for other characters. I think that's the other big problem.
I like that every class gets a unique buff and that you still have an incentive to go back to Drifter class just because it has the highest number of skill slots. So yeah. There are things that you can tell that they improved on in later games. Well, yeah. That's basically all we had to say. Oh, hold up. I did want to talk about some of the skills and how just blatantly unbalanced they are.
Oh yeah, that's right, because we have a note that says, make James explain the math.
Yeah, so, Core Crusher. Everybody here knows that name, because that is the best skill in the game. Why is this the best skill in the game? You may wonder. Well, the way how the damage formula works, you have additive effects and you have multiplicative. I did not intend to do that, but that worked.
Hey, that worked.
And you have multiplicative effects. Different ones are. It's good to have a balance of both, and that's just a general RPG sense. What's kind of stupid and arbitrary, in my opinion, is whether a multiplier effect is what's called independent or not independent. I forget what. Oh, I'm okay.
I was about to say, oh my god.
So the reason why Core Crusher is busted is because it is one of very few independent multipliers. And what that means is that its damage increase is added in at a separate point from where the others are, meaning that it's like taking instead of taking 0.5 and then adding another 0.5 to make it a 1x multiplier, you do instead of multiplying it together to make a 0.75 multiplier. Okay, that's a bad example. 1.5. If they are multiplicative, 1.5 times 1.5 is, I believe, 1.7. No, not 1.75. I think it's like 2.15 or 2.25. I think that's how it is. Whereas if you add them together, like what Core Crusher does, it goes up to 3. That is probably a very bad way to explain it. If I had like a calculator in front of me, I could probably explain it a little better.
Yeah.
But oh shoot.
Did you sink one of my balls in? No, you sank one of yours in.
I almost did, because that one over in the corner almost went in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are you going, ball?
Anyway, Core Crusher is not the only independent multiplier. There are a couple other ones, like oh nope, I'm not doing that one.
Oh no.
Like I think Aura Assault is another one, as well as Offensive Stance. That's why Longsword is so busted. It has access to Offensive Stance and Core Crusher. Yeah. 500 times 50%
equals
X times 33% equals B. I see what you're getting at. Yeah, so the X right there that Galax has in that formula is the the 33% is Core Crusher, but everything before it, like the 500 times 50%, that's all the other multipliers in the game.
Ooh.
Oops. I'm sitting here explaining this math, but unfortunately, I do not get the angles of billiards right at all.
Nope, you don't.
Whoops. Anyway, that's the last thing I wanted to talk about when it comes to the skills. Just how busted Core Crusher is. Later Xenoblade games, so like 2 and 3, made just critical hits into independent multipliers. I cannot do anything with this shot. I am just stuck.
You're gonna have to do something, James.
So this is what I'm gonna do for funsies. Yeah, I didn't hit one of mine. I didn't have a choice if I.
Yeah. Okay,
if I hit
that's
that
fair.
Too hard. Yeah.
There. At least I'll get one of mine in.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. Next big topic we wanted to talk about: combat.
Let me scroll down to
And
combat.
let's kind of we've kind of already gone over a lot of this with our talk on the stats system. I do want to try to speed it up because we have a lot to get through and we are not on pace.
No, we are far from pace.
I think it's funny that they raised the damage cap, but it can still be hit anyway. Oh yeah, that's just how busted Xenoblade X is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have to do something with this. Dope. Yeah, nope, I lost.
Thank you for hitting one of my balls in.
Yeah, I lost. Oops. Well, let's play again.
Yes.
Okay, so general thoughts on. All right, we're starting with ground combat.
Do we want to do simple rules this time?
I'm okay with sticking with 8-ball. I know how that
Okay.
works.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. So starting with ground combat, I know this is one of your biggest complaints. Without quick cooldown, it's just kind of slow. Until you unlock overdrive.
Yes.
In fact, I would just kind of skipping down to the overdrive section right now.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
I sank one of mine first.
Nice. Just kind of skipping down to the overdrive section. I call overdrive in this game to be the make the game fun button. Because, and yeah, this might be a hot take, but okay, I'm going for. What am I going for?
It doesn't tell us yet.
Oh yeah, because neither side has actually hit one in yet.
I hit one in.
So we're going for that. Okay. Was that one of yours or not?
No.
Oh, you can't take you can't take your side based off of the break. I see. It's the first one that goes in after the break. Interesting. I actually did not know that. So I'm stripes right now.
Yes, you're stripes, I'm holes.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, overdrive. I call that the make the game fun button. And in my opinion, it is the like make or break point of Xenoblade X. If you enjoy the game, you understand overdrive. If you don't enjoy the game, you're probably missing something about overdrive, and that's kind of an issue that you ran into.
Yeah, at first
Right?
I kind of first didn't understand it, but as I continued playing, I started to understand it. But I'm also just going to chalk it up to the game doesn't explain it very good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you do need a guide. I thank people like Amel for making guides like that. That was close. Yeah, it's the best part of the combat. And I understand why the art cooldowns are so long. It's because they are dramatically shortened in overdrive, but I feel like the basic art cooldown should have been lower, and then the overdrive cooldown should have been a lower effect as well, so to compensate for it. That's just my opinion, though.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Okay then.
Yeah.
Thank you for giving me a really good shot.
Oh, well.
Let's see if I can pocket this though. Nope.
Other mechanics to talk about with base game. Besides just overdrive. I'm again glad that overdrive exists. I also really like overdrive's implementation in Xenoblade 2. But that's post game. Well, it's not. It doesn't have to be post game only, but realistically, it's post game only. Dang it.
Ooh, that was close.
Yeah. So because I understood overdrive in Xenoblade 2, I had a little bit of a leg up in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. As for other things to talk about in the combat system, what do you think of the TP mechanic? Because it's basically like, I don't want to call it the magic meter, or not a magic meter, a special meter from other RPGs.
What the fuck are you doing?
I am trying to go for the purple one.
Oh, and it's kind of an awkward spot.
It is, yeah.
Okay. No, don't. There you go. There you go.
Dang it.
Anyways,
Did not do what I wanted it to do.
Okay, you're asking me about TP.
Yes.
Oh, son of a gun.
That's a big cluster.
It is. I am gonna go for the big cluster.
Oh, I almost got one in.
Oh.
Hey, you got one of mine in. Thank you.
God damn it. It's an interesting mechanic. I understand why they did it for some arts, but it's still at the same time I'm kind of like, I don't know.
So,
Are you kidding me?
Oh no.
Damn it.
Damn.
I understand why they did that for some arts, but I kind of feel like, we kind of mentioned this in our notes. Building up TP is such a pain.
Yeah. And this is just my opinion. I think that TP should have been refilled between battles.
Like,
Because
I wish it was
often find
like auto regenerative.
yeah, like HP is.
Yes.
It got to the point where I found myself frequently running. I tended to gravitate toward builds that had some way to gain TP very quickly. And two arts that I can think of with examples of that are Dual Swords Blood Sacrifice art that gives you a free. Well, you can just get free TP outside of battle, and then in battle it's have your HP to get 1000 TP. What do you mean that didn't go? That was supposed to go faster.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's just my opinion. Scale TP is too much of a hassle. Yeah, the scale GP, nice. Scale GP, kind of the same thing. Although, like, we'll get to that in a second. We'll talk about scale combat later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
That has other issues, but there's definitely other issues there. The overdrive button. Okay, so yes, there is a way to make the overdrive your free TP button. I know what you're talking about, Galax, but it requires you to the overdrive gain TP method requires you to have 3000 TP at the start of battle, which I still understand the requirement. 3000 TP makes sense, but having to build that can sometimes can sometimes be a pain in the ass.
Okay, I know, it's my turn. I'm looking at other things.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about overdrive. Yeah. Next thing to talk about. So we have like a buffs and debuffs section. There's really not that much to discuss there. That's outside of the ways. I was gonna mention this. I've mentioned this earlier. The ways to make yourself invincible. There are several ways to do it, and to be honest, it's really cool that there's so many different ways to do it. I like it. But my problem with it is if you want to ignore the ignore the defense system, which to be honest, you kind of do. The only method that the only one of the invincibility methods that I know works.
What happened?
Before post, it should have gone in. I don't know.
Okay, that was my fault.
Okay, you do have a point there, Galax.
I didn't pull
there
back
are ways. Yeah, you do have a point there, Galax. Yeah, recast sometimes does make it easier. That does help. Do I even have a way to hit one of my balls?
Kind of.
Dope.
Nice job.
Yeah. Anyways, the ways to make yourself invincible. It's cool that there are ways to do it. I love the invincibility strat in Xenoblade 3, where you can just take advantage of Noah's invincibility buff and then just pass it on to everyone. That is funny, and you blocked my one good shot. I'm not ragging on the fact that there are so many ways to make yourself invincible in Xenoblade X. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just that
Ooh,
it's just that if you
thank
want to ignore the
you.
defense stat, because the defense stats are kind of ridiculous, the only way that I can think of to do that before endgame specifically is Ghostwalker. And that requires you to be locked to the dual gun class, which, to be honest, that's like dual guns is one of the best ranged weapons in the game just because of Ghostwalker, and that's not necessarily
don't give me a
a
foul.
bad
Don't give me a
thing.
foul. Don't give me a foul. Thank you.
Oh, nice. But it's hard to keep invincibility uptiming. Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
That was a risky shot I pulled.
But yeah, Ghostwalker is, in my opinion, the only reliable way to like become truly invincible before post game. Because I absolutely love the perfect reflection build that Robot Wizard mentioned a while ago. For a while, I've been using that in oops.
Whoa.
For a while, I've actually been I actually was using that for my lightsaber build. But the problem is you need specific augments to make that work, and a lot of them come from super bosses.
Thank you.
The Reflect Ether one specifically doesn't, because you can get one of those outside of just killing Telethia, the highest level enemy in the game. But there are other ones that require you to kill super bosses. So that's a grind in and of itself. Another method, topple locking. It does exist, but you need specific skills in order for it to work. And some topple arts require you to. Some topple arts are TP arts. I'm not saying that wouldn't work early game. I'm just saying that it'd be a lot more difficult to build than specifically Ghostwalker. You have a good way to hit the ball from here. We're gonna try this.
Ooh, very close.
Yeah.
Oh, you always give me the hard ones.
Not on purpose, I guarantee.
I know. God damn it.
Yeah. Anyway,
Throw your free ball.
Point is, I have a hard time. Well, I have a hard time justifying defense until endgame, where you can be just absolutely invincible. Which that's cool that you can do that.
Yeah.
But you need specialized builds in order to pull that off, and that's not a bad thing. I mean, building yourself is one of the coolest things you can do in this game.
Nice.
Yeah. I just think that it'd be better if they were able to let us do the defense work normally. Like in the other games. I am not getting this in, but I'm still going to call that pocket.
Okay.
Hold on, let's see if we can do this. Don't. That's supposed to be a much harder shot. Last note to talk about when it comes to combat. Something that, in my opinion, is just a legitimately cool mechanic. Oh. Something that I think is a legitimately cool mechanic.
Try again,
the appendage system.
Yeah. And that's unique to this game.
Yeah, unique to this game, and to be honest, it makes this game feel super unique.
Yeah, it kind of helps combat feel a little bit more unique.
Yeah. It also makes Appendage Crusher one of the best augments in the game. Though, like, I do think it's kind of...
I didn't mean to do that. Shit.
No, that happens.
It's alright.
try this again.
Oh, you're gonna try and pocket one of my balls too.
Let's hope I don't, because I feel like that'd be a foul. Oh well, here goes nothing.
I don't fucking know.
Dang it. Yeah. Anyway, back to appendages. Yeah, great combat idea. I think it's used really well in chapter 13 with the ghost enemies, the ones that you have to interact with the appendage system in order to actually even do damage. That is really cool. But yeah, I guess just wrapping up our thoughts on combat. Outside of Overdrive, little slow and clunky. Inside Overdrive, really fun when you know what you're doing. That's the problem, knowing what you're doing. Okay. You can see which one I call by the one that's lit up.
Yeah. Next on our combat, on our kind of our thing here is Skells. Is like Skells just in general.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, Skells. Giant robots are cool.
Yeah.
Like, just giving us one is really, really neat. It is worth noting 2 new players that. Oh wow, and you even got a.
Kind of.
Lineup for that one. It is worth noting to new players that you don't unlock them until chapter 6. I know, like, I felt like that was a big issue to me when I played on Wii U. I'm like, when do I get these robots? It's supposed to be really cool. Yeah. Not necessarily a bad thing in that regard, but they are fun to pilot, and they do make exploration very fun. Just love driving around in a giant robot.
Yes. Yes, I will say it
And
did
then later
make
on,
exploration. It made it fun and easier, especially when you got the flight module. Because when I first got that flight module, all I did, and I know you were kind of recommending me to do this too.
Are you kidding me?
James, what happened? Anyways, well, you were recommending me to go around and get all the Frontier Nav points that I haven't gotten yet, because some of them can only be accessed through flight. So, well, that's kind of what I did, and it was nice to see some parts of the world that I haven't seen yet. Hraesvelg is amazing to fly. All right, GG's.
Yeah, I gotta agree on that one, Galax. Although I will say, when it came to Hraesvelg specifically, I wish its combat stats were better. It's not very good in combat. It is fun to fly, I will agree. But when I unlocked the flight mechanic for the Hraesvelg, I flew around for about 10 minutes, and then just kind of put it away forever.
Yeah.
That's just what happened.
Okay, I know it's not break time yet, but I need to go take a restroom break, so just keep talking about skills. I'll be back.
Yeah. Also, welcome in, Coyote. Please keep in mind, since you just got in, Coyote, the spoiler tag on the stream. We are talking about Xenoblade X and talking all the spoilers, like literally everything. So if you care at all about spoilers, this is your warning to leave now. If you don't care about spoilers for the game, then feel free to stay. Yeah. Anyway. Skills. They're awesome. I do think, however, that the equipment system is a bit much for Skells when it comes for new players. It's got the dual problem of, I think Galax mentioned it before, I wish there was more equipment options for Skells when it came to augments, but you can customize literally everything about a Skell. You can swap out its armor for different pieces. You can give it different weapons so it can do different attacks. That's good. Don't care about spoilers one bit? Cool. All right. Feel free to stay. Yeah. Okay. So what I was saying. I feel like if they gave us an old beat up one to start with, it would have incentive for me to keep playing, and where I'm not being fair. I think what you're getting at, Pen, is a thought that I had with this game. I feel like what they should have done, instead of like giving us so much freedom with making the skulls, which, you know, it's cool that they did that, and yeah, it's amazing what people can build with it. I think what they should have done is just give us a skill that increases in level and stats with our characters, and like you can still customize like attacks and stuff like that, but maybe just just one skill, and not having us like buy new skills later on in the game. Just give us the one skill that we're attached to, and let us work on just that one with our own level. There's also a skill weapon dupe equip glitch that somehow got into the final game.
Yeah.
I am not aware of that, Galax. Okay, that's actually really interesting.
Hi, I'm back. I apologize. I was like, needed to take that break. Anyway, should we pick one more smaller game for us to play while we're wrapping up?
Sure. Let's see. Want to play a luck-based game?
Yacht dice.
Yahtzee?
Wouldn't that take a little bit of time though?
It really doesn't actually. It's only like 10 minutes max.
Okay, yeah, we'll try it.
Yacht dice.
Yeah. Well, okay. I should have asked. Do you know how to play this? Because this is going to take a while to explain. If you don't.
I haven't played Yahtzee in a long time.
Okay.
I don't
should we play something else then?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Okay.
Some of the other stuff, like bowling or dice or darts, looked interesting.
The problem with bowling specifically is, unfortunately, you have to use Joy-Con, and none of mine are charged.
That sucks. Do we want to do Connect 4 then?
Sure.
4 in a row.
Yeah. Good old classic Connect 4.
Yes.
Okay.
It'll be quick and easy.
But anyway, what I was saying is they're gonna go. Galax, I am curious about this weapon dupe glitch that you're talking about. I'd like to see a video on that, not gonna lie. I wouldn't mind if you posted in the spoilers discussion or just somewhere in the Discord for me to watch later. I'm curious.
Or in the server me and James are in right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll check that out some other time. I didn't know that existed. That is cool. Anyways, we were talking about skill equipment and customization, and how I think there's a little bit too much of it.
Oh yeah, I absolutely agree, and I think that is something like you and me kind of echoed. It's just like, again, I kind of talked about this before, like they gave us maybe 9 pages or so for skills when you first get a skill, and I was just kind of like, what in the world do I do with this? Oh god damn it, no matter what I do, you would get a 4 in a row.
This was a quick game.
I hate you sometimes. Yeah, I realized, oh shit, no matter what I do, he's gonna win. God damn it. Anyways, but no, like seeing all the stuff for skills, I was like, huh? And it also didn't help that the gear, like, not the descriptions, but the gear was called. It did not help distinguish it at all to me. It was just like, what is this? What is this garbage? What is this like line of code?
Yeah, the fact that it wasn't. I personally, I would have just named it something along the lines of like skill range attack up. Like just take all the names, and just put skill in front of them or something.
Right.
Like that. It is consistent in that you do get to see. It is consistent in that the ones with the weird names are always for skills, and the one with the straightforward names are always for ground combat. So that's nice, but you know, it's not always a win in that. It's not always unconfusing in that regard. I explained that in the most roundabout way possible.
You did.
Wasn't there insurance? Yeah, we'll get to that in a bit, Pen. Actually, you know what? We can talk about insurance now. In my opinion, I think the skill insurance mechanic should not exist.
It's stupid. I'm gonna be real. It's stupid.
Yeah, I think that what they should have done is just if your skull is just if your skull is destroyed, then I think what it should have done, it should have just stayed destroyed for the rest of the battle. Whether you win or lose, you just get it back at the end of your battle.
Because I think like the skill insurance, having that mechanic in the game just made things more punishing.
It did, yeah.
It also just kind of ruined like it ruined any like incentivization for playing with the skills. Because again, I will reiterate when I first got my skill, I was like, I don't know what to do, and having all these tutorials shoved in my face did not help in explaining anything.
There's less skull insurance in the Wii U version, if I recall correctly, so your money's easily being killed. Yeah, I agree with Penn. It makes me worried to use them, because if I lose them, then I have to go all the way back to the Blade Barracks just to get them back, and that's just inconvenient. I'm not sure what I should be doing right now, actually. Yeah, it does make me worried to use them. That's a big issue with it, and yeah, if it was just you get it back at the end of battle, then I think that would have been solved.
Yeah, the free skills have infinite insurance, so I've been abusing that.
That's true, but the only free skills that you get, I think you get 2 level 20s and 1 level 30, and 2 of those are harass Velgs, which, as I've said before, not the best in terms of combat stats. I don't blame you for abusing that early game, not gonna lie. Yeah. Next thing to oh yeah, I was gonna complain about one more thing when it comes to equipment. Endgame skull armor. Now, I'm not necessarily saying this is a bad thing, what I'm about to point out to you, but if you want to try to build your skulls, in late game, or post game, excuse me, oddly enough, if you're looking for armor, the best armors that you can get really are just the best armors that you can get really are just from the skills that you make.
Yep. Honestly, okay, I'm gonna be real with you there. I saw a point where you could have gotten a 4 in a row way earlier. I'm just surprised you did not see it.
Alright.
There was a point, so I was like, why is he not going for it? It's right there.
I don't know. Must have missed it.
Oh well.
Opening damage R spam. Yeah, it's fun to make a one-shot build skull. In fact, I'm actually working on one right now. Uses the Zenith cannon. That weapon. Yeah, it's definitely fun to do that. Of course, outside of the Zenith cannon build, you can also have what's it called? Ares 90. In fact, if you only own the Wii U version and not the Switch version, and you're like stuck offline, you aren't able to get material tickets anymore, which that's a whole mechanic we'll talk about later. If you aren't able to get material tickets anymore, straight up, the few that you get still on the Wii U version is just bets spent toward an Ares 90. Just period. Yeah. All right, and last thing to talk about when it comes to skills is the combat in the skills.
Oh.
Now, I know you have choice words to say about it.
Oh my god, I don't like skill combat. I let you have that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am not a big fan of it. It is clunky and slow because those I know the attack mostly because the attack animations are long, but it doesn't feel good. It just doesn't feel good. Plus,
And sorry.
I feel like they should have added. I just feel like Skell combat was just underbaked. I like driving around in my Skell. It's just I don't like the fact that you are such a giant target.
Mm-hmm. I do think it's funny that you can run over wildlife and it still does damage. There's actually a fun there's a funny I don't want to say glitch, not glitch, but there's a funny little exploit you can do to kill some early to mid game unique monsters using a skill that's way under leveled. Yeah.
Damn it.
It definitely doesn't help that you're required to build at least skills for a main group of 4 in your party, specifically because of the chapter 10 boss fight. Just how that one works, you need to be in a skill.
Yeah.
It makes equipment a little stupid. Anyway, I got sidetracked for a bit. Skill combat. I do have to agree. Definitely compared to ground combat, it is kind of clunky and confusing. Not confusing.
Yeah.
I would actually say it's more straightforward than ground combat. Not gonna lie, but it's just clunky and slow.
It's just clunky and I hate clunky combat.
It's a terrible dichotomy when you see the skells moving so fast and doing such cool things in cutscenes, but they're not capable of doing that in the actual game.
Yeah.
They can still do damage, yeah, but they're not capable of being acrobatic and stuff like that. And I have the same complaint about the Ouroboros forms as well in Xenoblade 3. But
at the very least, I know this is something we put in our notes. An idea they should have had to make it more engaging, because I feel like another problem was the skill combat was just not engaging for players. They could have put button challenges in them.
Yeah, like in Xenoblade 2.
Or 1. Well, because 1 sometimes had a prompt every now and again, but that was more for affinity bonuses.
Yeah, and that mechanic's been kind of replaced by the soul voice mechanic.
But still, I get what you're trying to say.
Yeah, but you do have a point with Xenoblade 1, because I forgot. Yeah, Blossom Dance exists in Xenoblade 1. That is something similar. So there. What else was I gonna say? Yeah, but yeah, skill combat. Something interesting to note that one of my big complaints about it is the art cooldowns. Not only are the animations long, but also the art cooldowns are super long. Which and here's another thing: the art cooldowns are not sped up at all by they're not sped up at all by using overdrive, because overdrive in skills is basically just a regular buff. And it doesn't really add. I don't want to say it doesn't add much, but it gives the effects for overdrive depend on what model of skill that you have, and while it's cool that you can change that, I feel like it still should have been uniform on what it does. Yeah. Plus, it also doesn't help that.
It also doesn't help that I know this is kind of a little bit more off topic. But the cockpit mode, that made no fucking sense.
Yeah, there's no way to guarantee when you're going to get cockpit mode, and that's where you. So when it comes to skill combat, that's not a one-shot build. The way how it's best to do that, if you ask me, is you use your big attack at the start. Well, maybe get some buffs out, but then use your big attack, and then spam your other arts with hopefully less cooldown, in the hope that you get cockpit mode to instantly get your big attack again. Because most big attacks in the skills have 2-minute cooldown, something like that.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous how long it is.
That's a big yikes.
And also, it also doesn't help, like I said earlier, that that you don't get quick cooldown until post game. Cockpit mode refuels your arts, kind of basic, akin to Rage Form in Kingdom Hearts. I'll have to trust you on that one because I don't know what that is.
We'll get to that whenever we'll get to that someday in the future. I'll say that much.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be interesting to explain because I know exactly what Galax is talking about, and Rage Form is a very much risk reward sort of situation. It's just, again, I think that my big problem with that in particular is just a little bit different. And I can't say Rage Form is random like Cockpit because there's reasons behind you getting it. It's just how often it shows up is random.
Nope. I did not see that.
Well, I won for once.
Yeah.
But okay. You get what I'm trying to say. It's similar.
Yeah.
I do agree.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else that you want to say on skills? Because I think that's basically all the stuff we wanted to cover on skills.
No, unless you had something else to say.
Not specifically about skills.
Okay.
No, I think we've covered everything when it comes to combat. Everything
Yes.
worth covering.
Like gameplay-wise.
Yeah, gameplay-wise.
Okay.
Okay.
I know I took a break before, but I think we should still take a break to at least break it up, and so you have a chance to do what you need to do if you need to do something real quick.
Yeah.
Like I don't mind
I'm
stream
probably
going.
just
I don't mind stream going a little bit longer because of that. Because I know we had a lot to talk about, and that's okay.
Yeah. Basically, what's going on? This is the point in our notes where we have halfway marked down. Like we're done with all combat talk, and after this is mostly story, characters, lore, that kind of stuff.
Yes. So, James and I are gonna take a brief break. We're gonna take a little break, and I hope you guys take a break too, just for a little bit. When we come back, we will be playing Splatoon 3. For Salmon Run, while talking about the story and some of the extra things we wanted to talk about. So we're gonna put it to break time now. And while we're on break time, I'm gonna play a song from Xenoblade X for you guys. Not on the playlist. We're just gonna play the main battle theme.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna
enjoy Black Tar.
Yes. This is Black Tar. And we will be right back.
Yeah.
We're stuck on a whole different planet. No peace looking at the sky. Trouble's always all around, so we stay quick with the guns and cannons. Standing as long as you can until we get all dolls up. Then call our bets off with low guitar. Dealing with lives messed up. I'll get you wherever you go. They will find you with Mystic wherever you try, tell me that you just can't be there.
You guys can hear me? Yeah. How you guys doing? How's the weather at you guys' place? Because I'm just saying right now, you might have some storms. I hope my internet doesn't cut out. We'll see. Weather app comes through rain, but you got mine. Well, the weather app lies. Nobody can change the weather. I can't hear you in this black tar. I hear voices, but no one's something like that. I'm on a delay, so I can't sync up to the music you guys hear. It's an amazing battle. We'll be talking about the soundtrack at some point in this. I love Black Tar as a battle theme. In fact, it's debatably one of my. I'm not exactly sure. I really like Xenoblade 2's main battle theme as well. I'm not sure if Black Tar is my favorite regular battle theme in the series, but it is up there. I do really like it.
Okay, I'm back now.
Welcome back.
I was like, I'm gonna let the song play.
Yeah, that's fair. I was just telling chat that I'm seeing signs for storms right now. So.
Oh no.
So things are good now. And to be fair, we don't have power outage very often, but like there's a lot of lightning. So.
Okay.
We'll do our best. We'll soldier on until. Yeah, we'll soldier on.
All right. Thank you, Black Tar. Okay.
Okay. While we get this going, should I still host the room given what's going on, or should you host?
I think it would be safer if I host the room.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
All right, coming in.
My weather app promised rain, but I got none. Jackson, there was rain earlier at like 3 o'clock. Okay, room is open, James.
Yep, I am signing in right now.
Awesome.
There we go.
Okay, shall we get started with our story talk?
Yeah. While we're just quick mention of this rotation. Only thing worth noting on this one is be safe if you have the Hydra. That's a slow charging weapon, but it can be really powerful. That's all it's worth noting. Okay. All right. So we kind of mentioned the story a little bit ago. What are your thoughts on the story? Because you're the one between the two of us who experienced it for the very first time with Definitive Edition.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say the story is bad, but it definitely is not up to par with the rest of the Xenoblade franchise. Because, you know, I kind of knew going into it, okay, this game is definitely not going to be about its story. Story's not going to be, like, the major highlight of what we're playing. But I was kind of expecting, okay, something a little, like, something decent at least. Like, I'm not expecting
and unfortunately
avant-garde stuff, but unfortunately it kind of was just, it was just disappointing. I see that they were trying to do some stuff in this game, with the story. It's just, it felt so rushed to the point where it's like, you can see little hints of what they were wanting to do, but it feels like they didn't have enough time to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I do agree. It's
it's low tide.
it's well known, and we even said this at the start of the discussion. Story is not the focus of this game, and that's fine. It's an open world game. Of course, you're going to focus on the open world.
And I know,
but in a game series as storied as Xenoblade, I'd hope that I was hoping that there'd be a little more effort than there was, but unfortunately there was not. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just
it's
it's
not
there are pieces of a good
quality.
stories there.
It's not
Yeah.
the same quality that we come to expect from the Xeno series, which I think is why I was a bit disappointed. Like, yeah, I also had known, okay, I'm not going into this expecting a story, but I'll kind of mention this. Our friend Nomad, one of the big reasons why he was not a big fan of this game was because of the story, but he is very much a person who hinges some of their enjoyment on a game based on story.
Yeah.
Like, story is still a great big deal of importance to me, but at the same time, I can still understand, okay, this is not a game focusing on story.
There was a second game in the franchise. They were working on Breath of the Wild and Xenoblade 2 at the same time. I wasn't aware that they were working on Xenoblade 2 at the same time, though. I did know about Breath of the Wild, so I do understand why that focus was split. I still think that they're...
I don't
know.
I honestly don't agree with this, just because Xenoblade 1 is touted as... Some people can say that's, like, the best story in the franchise. Some people think that.
I even say that. I'm one of those people. Even though Xenoblade 3 is my favorite game in the franchise, I still fully admit Xenoblade 1 has a better story.
Yes, so I cannot necessarily agree with that, unfortunately, Galax. Just because it's like, no, this is not because of quality reasons. Plus, if my memory is correct, it was 2 different teams at Monolith Soft doing 2 and Breath of the Wild. Plus, Breath of the Wild has been in longer development than 2 ever was.
And X. And X. I believe Breath of the Wild started development at in at least 2012, maybe even earlier.
Because we knew about that game for years ahead of its release.
Oh yeah, we first learned about it I think in 2014, and it released in 2017.
Yes. So there was a big 3-year gap between announcement and release. Little did we know what they were planning.
Yeah, and now that being said, I don't think that the story is like something that breaks the game, to be honest, because I've gone on record. Zelda Breath of the Wild is debatably my favorite Zelda game. It or Tears of the Kingdom, but Tears of the Kingdom has other completely different issues.
Yeah.
I'm dead.
Which, hey, funnily enough, speaking of Breath of the Wild, I'm playing that now. That's my...
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was posting some of the funnies that we encountered yesterday.
Yep.
Me and my shenanigans with bombs.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah. But yeah, Breath of the Wild. What I was saying before, Breath of the Wild is one of if not my favorite games of all time, and it's debatably my favorite Zelda game. But I fully admit, story not that great, and same with Tears of the Kingdom, also story not that great. If you want a Zelda game with a great story, there are very few of them that I can even point to be honest. First one that comes to mind is Skyward Sword, but Skyward Sword has other issues. Most of motion controls. But anyway, it's
right. Anyways, we're not talking about Zelda.
Yeah, I would call Xenoblade X's story as serviceable, but nothing more.
Right. Like,
it is there to give new players something to play towards, and that's probably it.
Yes. But I think even though the story is not the best out there, what I think it does do very well is the lesson or the message.
Yeah. Up here.
I'm trying to get rid of these guys.
Our pub is just ignoring me. Buddy.
Yeah, because I'm trying to at least help.
Yeah, oh, sorry.
Okay, never mind. I'm good. But there's a big message with this one.
Yeah. Yeah, one of its major themes is it has two major themes as far as I'm aware. Life and death, which, you know, that's a pretty powerful one.
Yes.
And then dealing with people who are different than you. Basically,
Yes.
the racism issue. Those two things I think are done very well despite the story.
I think we best summed
Especially
it
if you
up
go to
as
the side
saying
content.
taking the good with the bad.
Yeah, that is that's something that that quote is taken directly from our good buddy Al, the same guy who says "How's it poppin'?"
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll talk about Al in a little bit.
Yeah, we will. But I think that his words in that moment are like a great way to just describe the entire game. It's got some good things, it's got some bad things, but to be honest, I'd say like even despite the kind of wishy-washy story, the general messaging of the game is still very good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I think speaking of Al, should we move on to talking about characters?
Yeah. So
Low tide.
we'll start with the main cast. Al comes in later.
Al, yeah.
We have.
We'll talk about him
So we
later.
have our main trio. Well, I guess quadrio, whatever you call that. Our main character, who, you know, silent protagonist. We've already discussed that. And Elma and Lynn. What are your thoughts on that?
Elma's okay. She's very much by the book. There's not really much interesting about her until, well, you see how she actually looks. But that's really it. You don't learn much about her. It's just, again, she's just very much by the book. She's like a guiding hand for you, which is great. I like that. But I'm just kind of like, I wish we saw more of how she actually was, besides being like this mentor figure towards the player character.
Yeah. And to be fair, you do get a little bit of that, but I feel like the little bit that you get in her affinity missions aren't really
Enough.
It's not really notable enough to write home about. She is the poster child for the game, and you know that's cool and all. But I do think that I do agree. I kind of wish somebody else was the poster child, not gonna lie. And that other person I think should be the poster child is Lynn.
Oh yeah.
In my opinion, I think Lynn's the best character because she goes through an actual arc in her character, and like she's just trying to accept her situation, make the best of it.
And I think she's probably like one of the best people. I think she's probably like the best person to do it with, because, you know, we're seeing it through the eyes of basically a child.
Yeah, she is canonically 13 years old. So yeah, she lost her parents in the destruction of Earth. You know, everybody lost somebody in the destruction of Earth, but you know, losing your parents is pretty damn traumatic.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting how
for someone her age too. Because she's so young, and it's sad. It's sad that someone her age had to go through that.
Yeah.
And little fun thing. about Lynn. She's voiced by Cassandra Lee Morris.
Yeah, so anybody who's played Persona 5 and has to go to bed early, you know exactly why we point that out.
Yes, she's also the voice of Sothis of Fire Emblem Three Houses, which you guys, if you were there for my Three Houses streams, oh yeah, you'll know her. I even made jokes about it.
She has a very distinct voice.
Yes.
I love how flying skulls have a meaning other than gameplay. Yeah, it does. Yeah,
Oh, yes, they
the whole
do.
Skull project in general just means so much to Lynn, which like I understand why it does, you know, mechanic and all that. But but there are other characters for which it means a lot. It does work best with Lynn, I do.
Yes. Because you have like a genuine reason why. Okay, worst
Now,
character...
why don't we talk about the one reason why I think Lynn probably wasn't the poster child of the game?
Yeah,
and
the
that's,
worst character in the fucking
the
game.
character she's with. Yeah, Tatsu. I'm sorry, buddy. You have one redeeming moment in Chapter 11, and that's it. That's all you got. Other than that, Tatsu is just a food joke, and that's it. Yep, Tatsu is just a food joke, and that's it.
Yeah.
Got nothing
I
else
know
going for
Penn
him.
said this earlier in chat, but I will reiterate it. The food jokes got old really, really fast.
I think they should have stopped it after chapter 6.
It's, again...
I feel like you should have had something else.
It just reminds me of, like, some of my friends. Sometimes they just don't know when to shut the fuck up with their jokes.
Yeah.
And it's very much very clear that they went with it and ran with it here. To be like, haha, funny, but it's still like, I think Tatsu would have been a slightly better character if the joke was not burned to the goddamn ground. James?
I miss everyone.
Ow. But, yeah, I feel like he would have been slightly better if, you know, the joke was not his one thing about him. Like, I kind of like his design. It's unique amongst Nofon, or Nofon.
He's not even a party member, but unfortunately, he's still a major character.
He is! That's what I'm like, the fuck?
We do have written down in our notes, yeah, Tatsu is definitely the worst companion Nopon in the series. Tora has problems, but he has a lot more going for him than Tatsu does.
Yeah. If we want to compare him to somebody else that the fanbase generally hates.
Yeah. Omomo Pon better than Tatsu. I'm trying to remember who Omomo Pon is.
She was in chapter 13.
Oh, her.
Yes,
Yeah, actually, that was
we'll
pretty
get into that.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. So
next up on our
that's
list.
main cast. Next up on our list of just like next up is more like the supporting characters for the main cast. So, what are your thoughts on Vandom, everyone?
He's not bad. Then
Yeah,
again,
I like him.
the Vandoms in the series vary in quality. He's at
Yeah, they
least
do.
better than his predecessor.
Yeah, Colonel Vanguard was basically just a Waluigi joke and like military head. That's really all he
I am a
was.
Tatsu defender. His brother Tora is more annoying.
You know what? All right, I'll give you that one, Galax.
Fair.
Tora, Xenoblade X Tora is annoying. I'll give you that one. Yeah, he makes you do entire quests that are just completely frivolous. That's a whole other thing. But yeah.
Grillers.
Yeah, he's good. I agree. I like Vandom as he is. Yeah. He gets the job done. I do appreciate that this was the first time that that the Vandom character has a big impact on the story. You know, he's the guy in charge of the team.
Yes, he's in charge of Blade.
Yeah, I feel like if we didn't have this Vandom, we would not have gotten Vandom in Xenoblade 2, and in my opinion, Xenoblade 2 Vandom is the best Vandom in the series.
No! Yeah, Xenoblade 2 Vandom is the best by far.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god! Robot Wizard says that he likes him, but not a fan of the new voice. Oh yeah, that new voice is...
Okay, yeah, that's a whole other discussion. That's a whole other discussion. Yeah, his new voice in the epilogue and some other cutscenes. Yeah, I'm sorry. I know that that for some odd reason they couldn't get the same voice actor to come back, and that's his decision and all that. And the new guy was doing his best. I do agree, but yeah, he's not.
I think he was trying too hard to replicate the old voice.
Yeah. Not necessarily a bad thing, but yeah.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it just doesn't.
Yeah, and unfortunately this was one of those times when it just doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't hit.
Man. Yeah, he's still a great character. Like,
oh,
despite the problems with his voice, I still really like him. Like I said, actually, I'd probably still rank him second best Vandom in the series. Xenoblade 3 Vandom is cool, but he only gets like maybe 10, 20 minutes.
He's barely there.
I'm sorry, buddy.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not enough times for me to form an opinion on that one.
Yeah.
Okay, I just got ping-pong backward. Whatever.
Yeah, don't worry. Alright. Next supporting character to talk about. Nagi.
Nagi is so cool.
Yeah. While we were playing the game, I was a little bit ahead of this person while we were playing. But partway through the game, Nomad and I were talking, and he's like, I have to give a formal apology to Nagi. I gave him shit when I first met him, but he's actually really cool. Yeah, he is an amazing.
He is a Nagi enjoyer, I'm glad. He has seen the errors of his ways. What is going on over here? Holy cow.
I'm trying to get base back in order. What do you mean you didn't kill the snake? Oh well.
I'm using my special.
Yep, good use. Yeah, we just gotta live now. Okay.
Give us some breathing room here.
Yep, we're good.
Awesome. Anyways, yeah, Nagi's fucking cool, and you showed me a clip of him.
His Affinity mission.
Yes.
Yeah. Main story does not do. Okay, so this is something that we should talk about with all
justice.
that we should talk about. Most of the characters, I'd argue, they don't get justice in the main story.
No, absolutely not.
But yeah, Nagi being one of them. But when you do the side stories and affinity missions, holy cow, some of them really do shine. And yeah, like I said, unlock Nagi as a playable character, and not only does he give you some of the best art in the game, but he is just, but he as a character, he's a beast. That's who he is.
It's, again, I feel like that's the problem with a lot of characters in this game. Who has Hydra?
I got it. I was charging up.
Okay.
I have a million eggs up here at the spire, but I also have heavy ink tank, so I can't deal with them very easily.
I know.
Get rid of them. I'm basically relying on you guys to be the egg throwers. But yeah, who's next on our list?
Irina
two
and
more
Gwen.
supporting characters, Irina and Gwen. I think they're serviceable.
But they come in a pair.
Really like. Yeah, I do really like their dynamic. They are legitimately interesting characters. But they're another case of you have to do the side stories to really get them.
This is Okay, this is another thing I kind of wanted to mention. My problem is with a lot of characters in this game is it already just feels like their story has been established. Like, they already went through their arc. And I wish we could have seen them go through it.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would have cared for these characters more if we got to see them do that. You alright?
Sorry, went down the wrong pipe. I'm okay, I swear.
Okay. Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Okay.
Cuddy heading to bed. Take care. Thank you for joining. Yeah. I like them as characters, but they're not really standouts.
Yeah.
Like,
no.
Like, spoilers for the rest of this discussion. There are only two
nice.
characters
I got a new badge.
that. Oh, nice. Nice. Which one was it? I didn't see
it was like the silver Grisco one.
Oh, you have 100,000 Grisco points. Nice.
Woohoo.
Oh, I've got. This is a discussion for another time, but I have a rant to give about the gold version of that. Anyways, back to the
stream.
characters.
Maybe after stream.
Which one's the one that tries to murk you? Oh, we'll get to that one, Pen. But kind of spoilers for this discussion. The other Xenoblade games, I would say that all of them have the numbered games. Excuse me. We have not played Saga or Gears, but I would say that all the numbered games, regardless of what you think about their quality, all the main cast and characters of those games is a like star-studded cast. They're absolutely like interesting, worth talking about. Xenoblade X, just spoilers for my opinion. I only give that title to two characters in the game.
Yeah.
We've already talked about one of them being Lyn. We'll get to the other one in a second. Actually, you know what? We'll talk about the other one right now because I kind of brought him up. Lao. I would say he's the other one that really leaves an impact on this game.
Some of you might know him. He's voiced by Matt Mercer, so some of you might know him as a few characters.
Yeah, the legendary Matthew Mercer.
Yes.
Back again to voice an amazing role in a Nintendo game.
Yes, he is well known for being Yusuke in Persona 5, Ganondorf in Tears of the Kingdom, and Vincent Valentine of Final Fantasy VII. I had to throw in
addition,
Vincent. I had to throw in Vincent.
Absolutely.
I love Vincent.
And in addition, Chrom in Fire Emblem.
Yes.
That's another one. And also Smash Bros.
No surprises role in Smash.
Yeah.
I don't remember if he's engaged. He might be one of the DLC things. I don't remember.
Yeah. But yeah, aside from just his voice actor, he is. I guess this kind of says something about my opinion of him by saying this, but he is the antithesis of Lyn. He sees all the tragedy. He sees all the tragedy that's happened to Earth, his family, and stuff like that, and he basically despairs. The reason why he ends up siding with the enemies, with the Ganglion, is just because he saw the corruption in humanity, the bad part, and wasn't willing to accept good. You know, the whole antithesis of the game.
He didn't want to, at least, despite knowing the bad, move forward with what they had. Because I think that's another thing, another big theme of the game.
Moving forward.
Moving forward with what you have. Yes, exactly, Galax. He had lost hope. He had nothing. Hope. He had nothing to live for anymore, essentially.
Yeah, and the reason why I like Lyn is because she still has hope, despite the fact that she is the exact opposite of Lao. And despite the fact that they're opposites of each other, I love both of them.
Yes, they're great. And I like the fact that Lao's affinity missions are mandatory. So I think that does help in solidifying him as a important character. Because you know what they were trying to do with that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and again, since we're talking spoilers, yeah, he ends up betraying the party, and I'm not sure if I'd necessarily say that he's redeemed at the end, just because of how that all goes down. There's a lot there to unpack, but you know, he does end up doing good. Okay. That's loud. The other notable character I remember for this game. Another notable character that I think is worth remembering from the game.
Yes. That was a mess.
Yeah, that wave was a mess. I think we'll just kind of do lightning round for the other characters. So we have Doug, voiced by
Patrick Stitz.
Yeah, Patrick Stitz. I honestly, despite the fact that he's your introduction to scale piloting,
there's not.
The only thing notable about him really is just his voice actor, Patrick Stitz.
Well, that and he's friends with Lau.
Oh yeah, that too. He does have a little bit of backstory for
which again, I wish we got to see. You're gonna be hearing me say that a lot. Thank you. But that's yeah.
The reason why we pointed out his voice actor is because, like, when I heard him again in this version, I was like, I recognize that voice, and it's because I've played exactly one East game, and he's Dogi. He is Dogi in the East series.
Mm-hmm. Oh shit! Ow.
I'll get you guys up.
Another character I think that we should at least mention a little bit. L. He's a pretty funny dude.
Yeah, L's the funny guy with the weird naming, with the weird speech patterns. That's usually reserved for Napon in this series, but you know, having another one that's not Tatsu is honestly kind of refreshing.
Yeah.
I appreciate him.
Plus, it's also. I think it also goes into his character because he's interested in human culture. Okay, cool. We got quota.
Yeah, I had one of the last eggs, and
yeah, me too.
So I was just trying to refill egg. It took like 3 seconds to get a full ink take to get that last one. Yeah. But yeah.
But those are
L's
like
funny, and he runs the
main-
best shop in the game. The one that gives you empty slots. That's very nice. That's really all of the main hero cast. I guess we can talk about the villains next.
Yes.
We have so Luxar.
I think he's
I'm
the
gonna be
worst.
real-
He's the worst villain in the Xenoblade games.
The worst main villain.
Yes.
I would say, because there are side villains. Because like when you brought up that you think he's the worst villain in the series, I would say I'm trying to think of how he compares to Gilgar.
Oh yeah.
I'd probably say he's better than Gilgar.
Okay, here was my problem with Luxar compared to Gilgar. At least Gilgar had like a motivation, and he made it very clear, and he actually did things.
The walking lungfish, yes.
Yes. Pretty much. Yes. But Luxar doesn't do anything. He just stands there. He's just a poster child for the ganglion.
I will give pushback on he does have a motivation. We learn later that humans' mere existence is death to him.
Right.
Which, you know, that's a pretty good motivation. But yeah, I do agree with the point of he really does just stand there.
Yeah.
The main cast doesn't even know who he is until the final battle.
Yeah. It's not like Gilgar where he's actually doing stuff to further his goal, and you can see him actively doing this, and you can see that he's actively a threat because he tried killing a child.
Yeah, he almost killed a child.
Yes. And committed arson.
That too.
If you guys want to see that, watch my Future Connected streams. They are old and scuffed though, so be wary.
I'd still say you did a good job.
Yeah, thank you. For my first project.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with that asterisk, yeah. it was a little bit off the scuff. But that's some of the best times we had there. He just stands there crying about his great run. That part is true.
I would make a joke about it, but we're on stream. I can't make the joke because it's very inappropriate.
I understand it.
You understand what I was trying to say?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Okay. But, ow. But I think, yeah, he was basically just the poster child for the ganglion, or as we put word for word in our notes here, just someone to put a face on the ganglion.
Yeah, he really is just someone to put a face on.
Yes. The other more, okay, this is a villain I think is way more interesting. Gajard.
Yeah, he is like the opposite. He is Lao except good. He started on the side of the enemies, but when he realized what he was doing, like straight up, his line about like I am party to madness when he sees the destruction he caused to New LA when he invaded, that was honestly one of the best lines in the game. When he realized he's fighting for the wrong side. He's Lao in reverse, and I really like it. I wish he was main story required. Alright, whoever's the Hydra next to can.
Okay. Going now.
Alright.
Why are three of them in the cannon?
Don't worry about it. You stay in the cannon. You're doing the right thing.
Yeah, I'm just hanging back.
But yeah, Gajarg is legitimately interesting. I kind of wish he was required. I gotta reload. Although I understand why he's not required, and the reason why he's not required is because, well, he wasn't part of base Xenoblade X. That's all right. We killed him.
Thank you.
Yeah. And to be honest, I actually here's the fun thing. I didn't actually know that he was a new character to this version of the game until somebody told me. That was really cool. He feels like a natural addition.
And he is required in Chapter 13. Galaxy.
Yeah, you are required to get. Yeah, you are required to get him because of Chapter 13. So technically, he is a required party. Yeah. Hold on, sorry. Let's try for a second.
No, you're okay. Nice shot from me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go!
I really like Gajarg. I loved his trader arc. And if there is a side character that again, the issue is I can't call him a main character because he wasn't in the base game. Though
he was a new addition in this version.
Yeah. He is probably my favorite side character.
Both sides again, okay.
Alright, and I'm the one with the Hydra. Yeah. As for other ones, thoughts on the Manon? Actually, good question.
I like their little funny voices, even though it makes me think of Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Yeah, you get Alvin and the Chipmunks vibe, but yeah, I do still really like them. I like them despite the fact that it was very clear to me at a certain point. They look like mini Jar Jars. You get that? See? Okay, never mind. I got it.
I wasn't. Sorry.
That's all right.
But I was gonna make a Jar Jar joke, and then you asked me that question, and now I'm like, never mind, we're not gonna make a Jar Jar joke today. Misa likes pizza!
Misa likes pizza! I love
it. Hey, I'm gonna ask chat, since this is a discussion stream, can we try and keep things on topic with the discussion? Thank you. Any like random things we will not be answering just because we have a lot to talk about and we are running short on time.
Yeah. Last thing when it comes to characters, let's just roll off some other highlights. Any ones that come to your mind or chat's mind. Somebody else mentioned Murderous earlier. Yeah, she's a little crazy.
She's a little wacko. One character I really like, Celica.
Yes.
I like Celica. She has the same V
Celica...
as young Tiki.
Celica, and kind of in the same breath, even though this character wasn't in base game, you probably want to talk about Neil Nail as well, because the two of them really do go together.
They go together as a package.
Yeah. I have a sudden craving for frozen pizza. I understand, Robot Wizard. I understand. Oh, you mean the prone? Those guys is like the other. It is interesting to see the dynamic in the prone, because as you find out from a side quest, only one of the two prone clans are actually enemies. There's the tree clan, which are pacifists, and they're just being forced into labor by the gang to save them. That's nice.
Robot Wizard says that they like Hope, but just wish they were better in combat. That is fair. I don't really care that much about Hope. She was like way too much goody two shoes. But I was very shocked with how one of her affinity missions ends with someone just, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it on stream.
Yeah.
If you know, you know.
We got you. If you know, you know. You've played the game, and we're talking spoilers here. But yeah. Other ones that come to mind. I have to point this out. I have to point this out as well because Luxon pointed this out to me, and I did not realize it until he said it. Lizelle. She is your vehicle to getting the harassment skills, and that's cool.
Yes, and she's a brand new character in this game.
Yeah, she's a brand new character for this game, and that is cool. And I also really like her story because you get to see some of the higher ups of Granada trying to make skills. Because a little lore note: apparently every skill made in the game except the harass spell are made by Sakuraba Industries. That one arms making little note that Luxon pointed out to me. I didn't get this, but it's very heavily implied that the asshole boss that she has to fight is just Elon Musk.
And even
obviously different name and stuff like that, but when he pointed out the guy's very distinct facial structure, I'm like, okay, yeah, this has to be intentional. He's very much got that square chin. So yeah, thank you, Luxon, for pointing that out, and that just made Lizelle 10 times better in my opinion because of that.
And Lizelle is also voiced by Erica Lindbeck.
Yes, Erica Lindbeck, well known for voicing Futaba in Persona 5.
Yes.
As well as a few other roles like Peppermint and Hi-Fi Rush.
Yes.
Yeah. Any other notable ones?
One I'll bring up, HB, just because he's a dick. And his voice is perfect. It is perfect for the kind of character he portrays. Oh my god!
Yeah, he's a dick. But as I described to you when I first completed his mission, HB starts as just an insufferable asshole, but he eventually becomes a slightly less insufferable asshole by the end of his affinity mission.
Oh. Thank you.
Yeah. I guess that's really all when it comes to the characters. Aside from Al, since he's Chapter 13 exclusive, he is the hero and the source of the "How's it poppin'" meme.
Yes.
He's got one joke. And to be honest, he's just kind of there. I don't have anything bad to say about him, but I also don't really have anything good to say about him.
Yeah.
He's really, to me, he's really
sucks. It kind of sucks because it's like, oh, he's the hero, and all this and that. It's like, oh, this guy's gonna be so cool. I mean, he's got some unique things about him, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, eh. He feels half-baked.
Al's best character. I mean, from a gameplay perspective, yeah, he does give you like completely busted moves in Hercules Blow and Howling Soul. I can agree from that perspective. Yeah, there's not really much to discuss with him, to be honest.
Tony agrees.
I like him. I like him, but
another
but
mothership
I also,
round. Okay.
All right. Yeah, no complaints. Yeah. Yeah. I like him. He's
Chat, let's ignore that.
He's not bad, but he's also just not that interesting to me.
He's described as a hero, but he doesn't like the title. I mean, fair.
I do
that's
like
one of that dynamic. Oh, damn it, James. Who's gonna take that one? Whatever. Ooh, somebody's using crab tank on it. Cool. Nice. Great job.
Good luck. Oh yeah, it's round 3. May as well do specials and stuff like that.
I'll probably use Killer Whale on the next one.
Yeah, I do like that whole thing. Rubber Wizard said. He's also like a big explanation for the lore.
I was gonna say, stop taking my eggs.
Didn't notice.
Oh well, it's fine.
Okay. Speaking of Al, though, our next point of discussion is the lore of Xenoblade X.
Yes.
Let's start with just base game lore, because I'm gonna be real. The base game lore, I think, is not bad. I've seen things that were worse.
I think it really helps that, you know, this game, I think, we'll kind of talk about this a little bit more later, or we could just clump it in here. The side content in this game is so impressive, and there's so much lore that just helps build the world, and I love that.
Yeah, the lore and side content together, yeah. Seeing all the different races and how they interact is really neat. Like, we mentioned the Manon and the Prone and the Nopon and stuff like that, but there's also like little lesser known ones like the Orphe, Professor B. His whole quest line is amazing.
Yes.
And then, like, to a lesser extent, you also have, oh shoot, what are the assassin shapeshifters called? I forgot their species name.
I don't remember, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. I forget what they're called. But yeah, a lot of people say, and I'm not entirely sure if I agree, but I understand the argument now. A lot of people say that Xenoblade X has some of, if not the best, like, side quest log in the entire series.
Yes.
And yeah, oh dear.
Oh, rotation.
Well,
rotation change.
Yeah, rotation. Yes, to the Finians. Thank you, Robot Wizard.
Thank you, Robot Wizard.
Yeah.
He takes the pizza making really serious. I need a guy like that. Are you saying that people that take their pizza seriously is something you're attracted to, Galax, or? Okay.
Pizza.
Okay,
yeah,
let me remake the
lore
room.
and side quest. Yeah, go ahead and remake the room. Yeah, I completely understand the argument. I'm still not entirely sure if I agree. Right now, I'd probably say the best tab would go to Xenoblade 3 in my mind, but X is right up there.
I would say X is a close second.
Yeah, entertaining. Yeah, very close second. I still really like just the raw. Well, I was about to say exploration, but like a lot of the little shenanigans that the colonies get up to in Xenoblade 3. That's just a me thing. But yeah. Xenoblade X has some really heavy side quests, like basically anything dealing with like Manon and how like we're seeing humans being racist against them.
Yes, and I love.
There's one.
I love this. It's kind of going into this. I love that in the side quests, your choices matter. Like, to kind of go in with, like, the racism one, there is a whole side quest where someone wants to do a seminar for Manon, and it's our job to, you know, round them up for a seminar. And when we get there, it turns out, we kind of fell into this guy's trap because he's wanting to get them in a secluded place where he can kill them. And you can make the choice. Do you want to save them, or do you want to wait and see what happens? And if you wait and see what happens, he will straight up kill them.
Yeah, if you wait too long, he just kills them, just outright.
Yeah, that's why I like that, like, your choices matter. And I like that in these side quests, like, what you do actually reflects in the real world, in the world.
In the world, because the NPCs stay dead. They're in the affinity chart as dead.
Yes. And also there's, like, a whole side quest branch where you're making a water plant for Primordia.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that one. And that just shows up on the map. It's a brand new skip travel point. Which, like, yeah, they've done similar things like that before, like Colony 6 and Xenoblade 1. And I mean, that's the biggest one I remember off the top of my head. But still, I really like how that's. Oh dear, hold up, we got to deal with glowflies.
Okay, give us a minute, guys.
Yeah, glowflies, we gotta concentrate.
Yep. I'm doing the same. Oh, never mind. It switched off of me.
I'm going to be out of ink after this charge. Oh, dear.
Okay.
Come on. Ah, dang it. That was just a second too late.
That works, I guess.
No.
Uh-oh. Okay, I'm gonna just be up here.
Yeah, if you have aggro, then yeah, you be up there. Yeah, you be safe. If you have aggro, be in the safe spot.
Yeah, our pubs were not.
Hydra, I am doing DPS.
Yeah, our pubs are not doing safe route shenanigans.
Yeah, that's alright. Alright, I'm going to the safe spot.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, we need to get eggs now.
Alright, yeah, focus on eggs. Alright, we
One
got
more.
eggs.
Okay,
We're good.
cool. We got it.
Okay. Alright, glowflies beaten.
Okay, anyways.
Just reading what each option for the quest. Yeah, reading the different options for the quest choices are cool. Yeah, to Robot Wizard's point, the quest that you mentioned before about the seminar that ends in the man on deaths, plural. I remember I just immediately was like, no, this needs to stop. But I was like, they wouldn't do this, right? And so I just looked it up later. Yeah, they just die. The man on will just die if you let him do it.
I knew beforehand because of Twitter.
Oh, I got you.
No, I didn't get the last one. Oh, be careful, there's a Moz. The Affinity updating mid-cutscene is really cool. Oh, yes, I love that too.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Yeah, I think Tony, Tony was the one who brought it up, yeah, he brought this up when we were discussing this before.
I think I also kind of brought it up too.
Yeah, that's something where, like, I like the Affinity chart in Xenoblade 1 and in this game. I kind of...
Oh, dear.
I'm dead. I'm not... I understand why it wasn't brought back in 2, and it was definitely an afterthought in 3.
There you go.
Yeah. Thank you. But still, seeing that update mid side quest or like mid conversation was so cool to see.
Yes. I know Affinity's not like a big thing in Xenoblade games, but it's still like, oh, okay. At least gives you like a visual of, okay, this is this character's relationship with this character. I love that.
Yeah.
Guys, get eggs in.
Yeah, we didn't have enough at base.
No, I was trying to help with inkjet, but
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that's our thoughts on lore pre-chapter 13. Why don't we talk about chapter 13 itself now?
yes.
So we had written down here, and I think we still agree on this. We kind of think chapter 13 was a little undercooked.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yes. Even after seeing you
Yeah.
play it and everything for me, yeah.
Mhm.
Like, I see what they were trying to do here, but at the same time, I was also kind of like, did we need this? Did we need all this extra content?
I'm still of the mind that I think what's going on is they originally intended for I think they originally intended for there to be a Tears of the Kingdom style sequel to Xenoblade X, where it's like you're going through Mirror at a later point. It'd be interesting to see what the changes are. Like, to be honest, it's one of my favorite things about Tears of the Kingdom is seeing what changed between Breath of the Wild and this game. And then while still dealing with the new threat, which we still got to see the new threat, which, by the way, the Ghost, awesome new threat. Well, not new threat. They're awesome. However, they are not new, as I have now learned. They are a known villain from the Xenosaga series. I have not played Xenosaga, so I didn't get that. Yeah, I do agree with Galax. It does change a lot of things in lore. But the execution as it stands within Xenoblade X, I do agree is a little undercooked. I think what they were going for is a full Tears of the Kingdom style sequel for X originally. But when that didn't happen, what was left was just kind of made into the epilogue for this.
Okay, right. It's Cohost.
And then I've got the Hydra. Yep, I've got the Hydra. I'm in the cannon.
Sounds great.
Man, I'll bring the moss to baskets.
I got it.
Yeah. But yeah, that is the that's just the general thoughts. I do like what they added in the epilogue, but just seeing more lore, and having a different ending is a big thing to me, because I mentioned this in our notes. I kind of feel like the regular ending for Xenoblade X is, I don't know, it doesn't really feel like a Xenoblade ending. Like, yeah, it's an ending, but it doesn't feel that grand, to be honest.
Yeah.
And Chapter 13's ending definitely gives you that. The fight with Void is definitely up to the Xenoblade Final Boss standard, even if it's very similar to the fight with Zed from 3.
Oops, someone's dead. Thank you.
It's serviceable for what it is, and to be honest, I am still glad that we got it, and that we got it in the first place.
Yes.
Yeah, I just still wish they. Well, it's not that I wish that they did the Tears of the Kingdom style thing, because Tears of the Kingdom has its problems and stuff like that. But it took you 4 hours to defeat Void. Ooh. Yeah, I have heard that some people had a lot of problems with Void. I will say though, Ares 90 does just completely
demolish him.
The fight, as I discovered on my own. So whoops. Oh, okay, we're doing this now. Yeah. I guess something else we can talk about when it comes to Chapter 13. The new area. So, continent number 6, called Volataris. I mean, well, you saw me play through the entire thing. We did it all in one night.
Yeah.
It's definitely the smallest continent, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. It was interesting to see an area that was definitely built around not just having skulls, because you're required to have skulls at this point, but you're also required to be able to fly with the skulls. So just having a very, I don't want to say vertical, but just extremely open area with a lot of floating platforms, stuff like that. That was super interesting. That being said, I still think, as Volataris exists, it's a little underwhelming. I
Yeah.
guess is the word.
It's not as in-depth as the other comments, which I kind of wish it was.
I feel like there's a downside to it if it was, though.
Yeah, I'm not saying I
'Cause
wanted
another
it to
issue
be
that
as big as the other ones. I just wish there was stuff to do. But, you know, because of story reasons, it's very much a, it's different. It's different for story reasons.
I have mastered the way of the blade. None of these salmonids will live against me. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it had the best exploration despite being the smallest. I'm not sure I agree on that one. I will say that it definitely was a very fun exploration, just because you are supposed to be flying around.
Yeah.
That is legitimately interesting. What I was going to get at, though, my other major complaint, I almost died.
Yeah, so did I.
Is really okay. We're doing
this.
this again. We'll get to that thought in a bit.
Oh God! I'm going to safe spot. I'm going to safe spot.
Yeah. Only if you're targeted. But if you're not targeted, get out of safe spot, shoot.
What is happening?
I'm okay. I'm okay. I know what I wanted to say. Now's not a good time, though.
Okay. Hold your breath. Not literally. Figmentedly. Oh, shit.
Yeah, you'll be there. You're good. I'm killing things. Oh no, that's not good. Yeah, use that Kraken. That's good. It's good. Good use, friend. Oh, I've counted that as all of our specials except for my one splashdown, which I just used.
No, I have one left. One more. I have one. I have the last
one. No, I
one.
don't have it. Okay. Okay. Time to defeat a snake. Alright, whoever has the Hydra should just unload into the bomb. That's what it should do the entire match. Let the rest of us focus on
I don't think I have Hydra.
Yeah, no, it's
No, I have
one of the bugs. Gotta rely on them. We are the guys fighting.
We're gonna fight the hard way.
Yep. Work Hydra. Give him put him in work. What do you mean that didn't count? I'm alright. Aha. Oz, be careful.
Okay. I'm gonna move. Ow.
I am so alive.
One more round.
I just had to use that to get my ink back. The thing. Nice job.
Awesome.
Okay, well done.
Woo!
All right.
Back to what we were talking about.
Back to what we were talking about. Volataris. Yeah, my major complaint with it is just the fact that it's locked to Chapter 13, Act 3.
Yeah.
It's definitely fun to explore. To be fair, I do enjoy it. However, right before you go to Volataris, you're under the impression of, okay, it's time for the big final showdown with Void. And then the end game just comes to a screeching halt because he launches you out and you're just in Volataris. And your goal then is to just explore, find your party members, um, and enjoy the new area that was hyped up so much in the trailers and stuff like that. It's cool. You
Mhm.
get cool things from it. Something else to mention: you get 4-slot weapons, which that's unique and really fun for endgame builds. I like taking advantage of that. It's cool, but I just wish that we could explore it without having the looming
That
threat of void
limitation,
over our
yeah.
head. Yeah.
Goldie time.
Again, it's not bad. It's
Okay, not that
just
one.
it just has a few missteps around it. We do not need that right now.
Oh, the killer whale.
Yeah, we do not need that right
We really honestly didn't need that with you on Hydra.
now. Yeah. Anyway. Anything else to mention about Bolataris? Just our final thoughts about Chapter 13.
I think let's go to our final thoughts on Chapter 13.
Yeah, I like that it's there. Again, I still think it's an improvement over the original ending.
Yeah, because that was a cliffhanger. That was a nasty cliffhanger.
Mhm.
I just think my
It's-
problem with 13 was it hinged way too much on that post-credit scene. If it was something new and different, okay, sure, fine. I might have liked it a little bit more, but I think the problem was I think what they could do with it was very much limited because they're like, okay, we're basing this around that post-credit scene.
I do know that a part of why they didn't really change the stuff from the post-credit scene was because apparently Lao's voice actor in Japanese. Apparently he passed away between the two releases.
Yes.
So it's possible that they wanted to honor his character and stuff like that. Because if you don't know, when a Japanese voice actor dies, typically that means that the character would either die or stay dead. No more appearances of their characters. If that makes any sense. And they would pay respect to that. Like if you're dead in real life, your characters will be immortalized as they are at the point.
Oh, we got an AFK'er. Never mind.
But yeah, it's still better than nothing. It's better than in my opinion what Chapter 12 would have ended us on. But it feels like it's not what the developers intended. Because like I said, it still definitely does feel like they were trying to go for the Tears of the Kingdom style. Which it's interesting and I wonder what our timeline and thoughts would be like if that was the case, if we got that. But that's not what we got. We accept what we've got. And what we have is still good, I'd say. Still a net good in my opinion. But, can't win them all.
Yeah.
And I guess our final question on Chapter 13 from a lore perspective is: did we need Chapter 13? And the thing that you had written down was we're not sure yet.
The answer we have is
Yeah, unsure yet. Just because typically what they've done with this kind of thing, if Future Connect is anything to go by, Future Connected heavily dealt with stuff in Xenoblade 3, so it's possible that stuff that happened in Chapter 13. No, Future Connected. This is Xenoblade 1's.
yeah. Then why did you say? 3?
It because they were working on Xenoblade 3 at the time. Xenoblade 1 Future Connected
makes sense.
was,
Makes sense. Okay. Yeah.
Was heavily.
Sorry, misheard ya.
It was in the plan. No, you're good. So it's possible the same thing is going on with Chapter 13 here and their next game. Again,
Which
we'll
we
have to
don't
wait
know.
and see. We don't know yet. Yeah, we don't know yet. Too early to tell.
Ow.
Okay.
But that's also a question we could kind of leave it to you guys in chat as well, what you think.
Yeah.
Okay, we kind of talked about side content already. I don't know if we want to go back to that.
Yeah,
or do
I don't
wanna
think
move
I don't
on?
think we need to.
Backpedal.
I don't think we need to talk about the side quest specifically.
Ow.
Yeah. I don't think we need to talk about the side quest specifically, but there are definitely some things that are still worth discussing.
Okay. Kind of lightly touch on them.
Yeah, like just, I guess we could talk about like the completion experience, like
'Cause
like
I know that's
the
what
map.
you're doing.
Yeah, that's what I'm working on. There's a lot that I still want to do. I still want, because I'm still playing it, even though I beat the game and I still want more out of it.
Yes. Which is
Yeah.
totally fine. You know, James plays games differently than I do, and that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say the whole map completion thing and like doing each thing that's required of you in every cell in the game is actually really cool, I think. If we do have a similar open world style for the next game, I wouldn't mind this returning. This is neat. Sometimes you fill in the exploration data with like just a frontier nav site. Other times it's defeating tyrants or stuff like that. That's cool.
Or, you know, doing
It gives
side
you an incentive to go. Yeah, it gives you incentive to do side quests and other things. It's neat. Yeah, I do kind of wish Lao was playable after Chapter 13 with what they did with the Ares, but I get them wanting to keep him dead. Yeah, I actually legitimately thought that Lao was gonna like come back and stay alive after Chapter 13, but that didn't happen. But yeah, map completion. I like doing that. Other little things to go over. I like the Collectopedia.
Yeah.
And the affinity chart. We already talked about that.
Yeah.
I also do want to draw attention to the enemy index. This is a little feature that, you know, typically isn't worth discussing, but it was brought back in Future Redeemed and handled really well there, in my opinion. And I'd say it's actually handled really well here as well, because of the problems with the combat system. In this game, you'll often like want to do some planning, and like we said in the past, the planning aspect is actually really well facilitated by the enemy index. Oh, I'm dead.
That's not good.
We're just kind of going over like smaller things.
Yeah. Little
like
small things that we still wanted to mention, but we didn't want to spend a lot of time on, just because there's not really much to say about them.
We're coming down to the end on this discussion. What else is there? Ooh, the online features.
Okay, I got something to say about the online. I feel like it was just poorly advertised to new players, because I genuinely thought it would be something like an actual, like, more MMO style, where it's like, oh yeah, you and your friends can play together in the same world, kind of like a la Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which, if that was the case, I would have been like, oh shit, damn, that would have been fun. That would have kept me wanting to play the game. Like, say you, me, and Tony just come explore in my world, help me do some quests and things.
Yeah. And I have a feeling that's what they were
case.
going for with the online, but unfortunately that's not what they did. No, the online is for specific missions that you can do if you want some grinding help or something like that, or the raid bosses. And I think the raid bosses are cool. I just wish there was either A, more of them, or B, more to do with them. Because I've gone over this in our spoilers discussion page, but oh hello. But I thought that there'd be a point to like grinding out the raid bosses, like maybe getting specialized rewards or material tickets or something like that. No. All that you get are specific.
Goalie is coming in the basket.
Yeah, all that you get are specific enemy drops, which can already be gotten with material tickets. You know what? We need to go down there.
I'm gonna try and get eggs. Never mind. I died. But definitely I felt like the online was a victim of false advertisement.
Yeah,
because the way they worded it in promotion made it seem like something else than it actually was.
Yeah. I will say I just wish I like how it is. I wish there was more. So that's really the biggest issue. There was not enough. Yeah, asynchronous multiplayer. Yeah, at least I think that's what I think that's what that is.
Maybe.
Yeah. There are other things you can do with the online features. I will say, the scouting blades feature is like the closest that you can get to actually having your friends in the same world as you. It's just they're controlled by AI. Though that being said, it has led to the Bongelium. Yep, it has led to the amazing Bongelium farm. So I'm glad that it's in the game for that reason.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah. What else is there to talk about? I think we've finished the discussion on online.
Soundtrack?
Yeah.
Some of the music?
I was talking about this before when they were listening to Black Tar, but of all things, I'm glad that they got the soundtrack right.
Yes.
There are definitely some stinkers, I will say, but every Xenoblade game has its stinkers. The soundtrack is really good.
Yes.
In
Yeah, chat, do you guys have music themes in this game that you like? I know we listed a few of ours.
Yeah. Anybody has Triple Link Strike or something? We need those Flyfish dead.
I don't. I have Crab.
Crab works. Use the secondary shot to kill them.
Never mind, I died.
That's all right. We just gotta make sure we live.
Black Tar was one. Obviously, we were listening to it earlier. Uncontrollable, the unique monster theme for this game. Oh my god, it's so good.
The one thing that I wish is
I played it on stream once, but that was like way back.
The one thing that I wish is, like, even though I really like the Overdrive theme, called, I think, We're Fliggin', something like that. I don't actually know how to
I don't remember.
I wish there was a toggle to turn it off. It's kind of like I wish there was a toggle to turn off the Xenoblade 3 chain attack music.
Yes.
Even though that theme is really good,
it gets
I
annoying
wish that we
after
could
a while.
hear. Yeah, it gets annoying after a while. And same with We're Fliggin'. It's when the best way to play the game on ground is Overdrive, you're going to be hearing that much more often than you would Uncontrollable or Black Tar.
Yes. Did you want to keep going for one more, or did we want to stop and kind of wrap it up?
I think we're almost done, but I think we'll do one more round, but we are almost done.
Yeah, we are very close to done.
Yeah. Yeah. Other notable boss themes. Robot Wizard brings up another one I wanted to discuss. The key we've lost.
I was tempted to put this for the break song, which James convinced me otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, thanks.
But it is a very good song.
It is very good. I'll probably throw it in. I'll probably throw it in Games General afterwards, but I will spoiler tag it.
I am very glad that every Xenoblade game has at least one final boss theme that I can legitimately say is amazing sometimes. Xenoblade 1, you had Sands of the Divine. That is awesome.
Yes.
Xenoblade 2, like, the regular final boss theme is kind of meh, but Over Despair and Animus, Malice's theme from Torn of the Golden Country, that is phenomenal.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think 2 probably has the weakest of the final boss theme tracks.
Yeah, that's fair. But I do need to point out Over Despair and Animus is another phenomenon.
Yep.
And then Xenoblade 3 also, you can say what you will about the regular final boss theme. Redeem the Future is amazing.
Future Redeems. That final boss theme is... It is amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm glad to say that every Xenoblade game has an amazing final boss theme somewhere in it. And the key we've lost definitely hits that in Xenoblade X. And that goes for either the regular version or the 2XTV remix. Both of them, I'd say, are really good.
Trying.
Yep, we're good. We got it. We got
okay. Doesn't help that I'm on Hydra on high tide. So I feel I feel like a sitting duck.
We did have another note here when it came to the music. The sound mixing.
Just a small nitpick.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little off sometimes, and apparently it was worse on the Wii U version. Just to let you guys know. It's better in this version, but you know, still not the best. But yeah, that's just a little nitpick, not that big of a deal.
It's not gonna like make or break your experience, but it's definitely jarring and annoying.
Okay. Oh dear. Dang it.
It's like I get like, okay, this is a game with the more vocal tracks, which is fine. I'm okay for that. But it didn't help whenever there was a vocal track playing and there was a cutscene playing as well. You could not understand it half the time, and it just was like, okay, what? Maybe it's just me, being more sensitive to sound. Oh my god, fish sticks, die. Thank you. Okay.
Last little couple notes. I did just want to point this out, because when I realized this, I was a little upset. Why is there no events theater in this game?
Yeah.
There really should be one.
That was annoying when you told me that. I was like, wait, seriously?
Yeah, it's not in the game. I thought it was like when I didn't see it on the main menu, I just assumed that maybe you unlock it after beating the game. Nope, not there. The audio mixing for story audio is better, but overworld audio is worse. I see. Okay. Yeah, so it's not better one way or another. It's just different problems. I don't like that solution.
It's kind of a give and take.
Yeah. I guess. Well, okay. One other little thing I did like. I don't know if it was in the original. Somebody who's played the Wii U version to like completion and stuff. Remind me. Were the Mirren archives in the original version of the game? I think that's a neat addition.
So time constraints, probably. Yeah, that's a fair justification.
And I guess just like more general thoughts. A big question to ask everyone: what do we think that Monolith Soft can learn from this?
Galax says the archives are new to this version.
Okay, if that's the case, honestly, pretty good addition.
It's nice and helpful.
Yeah, I like that. It gives you some lore tidbits.
You stop. Oh my god, can the pub stop moving? That pub was frustrating the absolute crap out of me.
Oh, we were close.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. What can Monolith Soft learn from this game? Learn from this like retread of Xenoblade X.
I think the big thing that we did to talk about is like they might go more in on big transformations or something like that, like something like the Skells or something like Ouroboros.
Yeah, because it's very clear that that there are some design overlaps between the Skells and the Ouroboros forms.
Yes.
So I think whatever they do for their next big game, assuming it's not a remaster, would be something along those lines. So something in there to go with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're wrapping up, so I'm gonna close down the room.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just about done here.
We're just about done.
Yeah. I think that if they are going to go for another open world game like Xenoblade X, I think the big thing that would have to be solved first and foremost, aside from like the little combat nitpicks, really would just be the story. Because I think the story structure is fine. It's really just the execution that was problematic. If we get another Xenoblade X game, dedicate time to game balance and making the world be built for Skell exploration. I would say they did a pretty good job of that second part, the Skell exploration, but definitely, yeah, I agree on the game balance part. And yeah, it definitely could still be improved for Skell exploration. I'm not saying they nailed that. It's just I felt like it was fine. But yeah, if they decide to do that, those are our critiques.
Yes.
Still like the game as a whole.
Yeah. I think. Is it time for our final thoughts on the game as a whole?
Yeah. I just got my rewards and stuff. Yeah, let's give our final thoughts and end stream here because we've been live for a long time.
I was gonna say, is this the longest stream I've done? No. Fire Emblem Finale is still the crown. It is still the one with the crown on that. Thank God.
Yeah.
Did you want to go first, or should I go first?
You go first.
Since I have a little bit more to talk about.
Yeah.
Okay. Xenoblade Chronicles X. This is not my favorite game in the series. I would say this is probably my least favorite game in the series. This one is definitely a total shift from the numbered games. But I still think, like, as someone like me who has played all the other games in the franchise, it was still, like, a comfortable thing. It was still good for me to jump into comfortably. The problem was, I think a lot of people are gonna go into it thinking it's like the other games, when it's definitely its own thing. I don't want to say it's the black sheep, but it definitely feels like the black sheep sometimes.
It definitely does feel very different from the other games, which is saying something because each of the other games are, like, they have their differences.
Yes.
Xenoblade 1 clearly has a very different design philosophy than 2 or 3, and 2 has such different, like, mechanics as well from the other games than 3, and 3 the whole thing is trying to bring the best of both worlds. This is just kind of
In one package.
yeah, X is just kind of its own thing, and it still kind of is. I know that if somebody was to ask me about like what game should I start with, I would definitely still say start with the numbered. Yeah, I'd say start with the numbered games, because it's a very clear first Xenoblade 1, then 2, then 3. X is just kind of its own thing.
X, I would say I more
yeah,
I more recommend X if you are interested in playing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's definitely its own thing. So the definitive edition was like my first full experience of the game. I do own the Wii U version. I did not play much of it. I got bored really quickly, and I just couldn't figure it out, so I kind of dropped it. So
yeah, and that's fair.
Yeah. I still think the exploration, top notch, was really good. And exploring the world was a blast. I enjoyed that part. It's just, I was overwhelmed by the myriad of mechanics, which made this game very, very, very confusing for someone who's playing it for the first time to understand it, and it makes it hard for me to enjoy it when I'm struggling to figure out what's going on and needing outside sources to understand it, like say me asking you and Tony questions or watching, say, Anel's videos. Like, still, you get my point.
Yeah.
It is way too much.
Yeah, if you need outside help to understand a combat system, your combat system is too complicated.
It's bad. I want to say it's
Granted,
bad.
It's still fun.
It's still fun. It's just,
yeah.
I was discouraged, I think.
Yeah, and that's understandable.
Yes. And I think the big thing about why I dropped the game was sheer burnout. Unfortunately, X came at a not so good time for me, to where I was dealing with major Xenoblade burnouts, because this came out around the time Mike was still streaming Xenoblade, and that was around the time I was finally cementing that I was going to depart from that stream project. That was around the time where we finally realized I need to step away. I feel like if the game came out under different circumstances where I wasn't dealing with this stuff in the background, I probably would have finished this game, but definitely with everything going on, it was a lot. It was harder for me to play the game. Like, at first I was like interested in it, then I don't want to say I played it out of obligation, but I genuinely kind of feel like, if, say, I wasn't doing other Xenoblade stuff at the same time, I probably would have had more fun and would have given it the time it deserves. Because I'm not gonna say this game is bad. I still think, like, people should play this game. It's just...
Yeah. Xenoblade fans should play the game.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know. But that's basically most of my thoughts. Decent game, just kind of came out at a bad time, but it's definitely... I would still say this game is still definitely a hurdle sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely does still have its problems. As for me, I have put my hour count on Switch Online says like 400 plus, but I'm pretty sure my actual hour count in like actual playtime is closer to 300 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I have put a lot of time into the game. I do very much enjoy it, and I still have things I want to do. And its two greatest strengths, being the overdrive mechanic and the exploration of the world, are really good strengths. They are the draw to this game. Like, I'd even say even more so than the giant robots. I still found it to be really good. But yeah, the fact that they kind of dropped the ball in the story did hit a little bit on me. Though at least the themes of the game are still very good, and they resonate. They're worth seeing. It's just you need to spend more time than the main story would require you to in order to see some of the best parts of the game. And to be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of that design. Yeah, all Xenoblade games you can play for hours and hours even after the main story's done, and you can have a ton of amazing side content, which this game has. But if the content that people play the game for the main quest, the main story, if that's not that interesting, then they're not going to stick with the game.
Mm-hmm.
Add on top of that the issues that I have with the combat system, and it's a game I have a lot of critiques for, but I do see the quality and I do still very much enjoy it. It is like I agree with C on this though. It is still my least favorite Xenoblade game. I prefer all the main trilogy over this one. But it's unique. It's very good.
Yes, I would say it's very unique. I would still say though, I would find myself coming back to the number games before I'd ever come back to this.
Yeah. I know we'd written this down. I don't know if you want to reveal it on stream. But we'd written down number scores that we'd give the game if we were reviewing it.
Yeah, sure.
To reveal those.
Sure.
Yeah.
Mine was 7 out of 10.
Yeah. Still a recommendation, but like with a lot of asterisks. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah. Me, I would put this at an 8 out of 10. I'm generally a little more positive on it than C is, mostly because I did not have the burnout problem. That is a big thing in its favor to me.
Well, plus also you had experience with the Wii U version.
Yeah, I had experience with it, but like I said,
experience.
I put down the Wii version. I didn't even finish the main story on Wii U. Nor would I ever want to now that I've lost a save file.
Yeah.
But I'd give the game an 8 out of 10. But no, like for comparison, I'm not sure if you'd agree on this, C, but I would rate every single numbered Xenoblade game at least like a 9.5.
Probably not 2. I would agree with 1.
I would put 2 up there.
1 and 3, 2. No, I don't necessarily agree with 2.
Yeah,
and,
we've had a long discussion on this before. I'm one of those people. I prefer 2 over 1. Although 3 is still my favorite, better than both of them.
And I've been very vocal
that's a mild disagreement.
And I've been very vocal that Xenoblade 1 is my favorite game of all time.
Oh yeah, and I understand that. I understand that one.
Yeah.
Robert Wizard says X's second favorite in the series, tied to 2. Yeah, fair enough. And again, all opinions on like how you'd rate these games are valid. Like
yes, and they're subjective.
With everything we said, we agree on one thing. It's still a good game.
Yes.
It's still very worth playing, especially for other Xeno fans who may not have had a chance to play the Wii U game.
Yeah, and the fact that it's finally on Switch is great. It's more accessible to more people now.
Yeah, the entire series is available on one console that is current, and that is great to see. Mm-hmm. Not many series can say that.
Yeah, and the good thing is you can play these games on Switch too when that comes out.
Yeah. Speaking of Switch 2, we didn't mention this, but somebody brought it up in a previous stream. I think it was Robot Wizard. There is the 60 FPS mode that's apparently like unused in the game's files, and if you try to turn it on a current Switch, it really bugs the game out. But it's possible that's something that they're saving for a Switch 2 update. So hey, if the game gets that official Switch 2 patch, it'll be even better on that console.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see about that one. I'm not gonna hold my breath on that.
Yeah. I wouldn't say that there would be like a reselling point to someone who may not have enjoyed it on Switch One. It'd just be like something worth noting.
Absolutely.
Like I'd say this. I say the same thing about Mario Odyssey. It's getting an upgrade for Switch 2, but if you know the game on Switch 1, then Switch 2 is really just a bonus. If you enjoy it on you really enjoy the game for things besides the Switch 2 benefits.
Yeah.
Haven't heard anything about S getting a patch yet, but that would be nice. Yeah. It's not part of the initial wave, at least. So
no, it's not.
I still think that they're going to update more. There is credence for X being one of them, but we'll have to see.
We'll have to see how that goes. Anyways, I think we've talked very much at length about X. A little bit more than we originally thought. Though we kind of knew that we'd be going overtime with this.
Yeah.
I do want to say a few things before we do our outros and wrap it up. Just in general, I do want to thank you, James. I want to thank Tony as well for doing research and helping compile all the information that we had in this stream tonight. Because me doing this by myself, oh god, that was gonna be a nightmare, and some of the stuff I didn't know. So I thank both of you for your just helping me out with this. It's greatly appreciated.
Yeah.
And I appreciate...
I enjoyed this project.
Yes. And I appreciated all of you, of course, coming in the chat and, discussing the game with us. That's why I like doing the discussion streams. It's not just us explaining our thoughts. I want to get you guys involved too. Because, yes, this is something we're passionate about, but I know you guys also have things to say, and I want you all in chat to give your 2 cents as well. And I'm very thankful that we kept it on topic tonight.
Yeah, that was very nice. Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you, Robot Wizard, of course, Tony as usual, Galax as well, and Penn as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and Penn. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys all had good things to say. Even people who weren't as talkative, who maybe not as familiar with Xenoblade, like Haxorus. That's all right. I'm glad we were able to get our thoughts out there.
Yes.
This is, I guess, in a way, a review of the game from us.
Kind of, yes. And I do hope in the future, we do more discussion streams. I wish I could add more. I just wish I could add more. Like I've been saying, Penn, if you want to talk to more people about the Xenoblade series in general, come join my Discord server. We have a whole area just dedicated to that.
Yeah.
No, it's very spoiler heavy in there. So proceed with caution.
The chat is called the Xenoblade spoilers discussion. So like, you know what you're getting into when you click on it.
Yes. Yeah, I would definitely say I would love to do more discussions, streams in the future. We just have to find topics. And I know this is a thing that you are wanting to do more often. And
yeah, I really like these.
Yeah, and I hope you guys as well like them too. I know it's a change of pace, but they're a fun, nice little breather every now and then.
Yeah.
Okay. With that being said, I think we should wrap things up. What do you gotta say?
Well, as usual, I am JC101. I am here as co-host. Although I do co-host on my friend the Nomad's channel as well. This week, though, I will not be part of the current project. He is going to be playing Don't Starve together with a bunch of our mutual friends. I'm not part of the project because I don't own the game. Although you will still see me in chat for those streams. So yeah, Tuesday and Thursday this week at 6 p.m. Eastern, he'll be playing Don't Starve together with some of our mutual friends.
Yes, I think his channel link is in the description. You guys know where to find Nomad. You know where to find him. I don't need to tell you. And then later this week, we'll be returning to Miitopia. I know it's been quite a bit since we did Miitopia, but we'll be back to see what CL and her friends are up to in their crazy, wacky adventures. I'll have James with me, and we will have a special guest. And I think I'm okay with saying who's gonna be there with us. So you guys saw him on Friday last week. My friend Mike, also known as Akmal DL, he is going to be co-commentating with us for an episode of Miitopia. So it'll be a fun time.
Yeah.
So hope you guys look forward
Will
to that.
Will Ciel and friends be able to rescue Tony, Jackson, and
Amon.
And Amon? Yeah, I forgot who the last one was. It was Amon.
It's okay.
We'll have to see next time on Miitopia Ball Z.
Yes, that'll be at 6:30 Central Time on Friday. But I think with all that being said, have a great night, guys, and we will see ya whenever we see you again.
Take care, everyone.